want to take a look at an example of the 15-year mortgage, which is the one we recommend, versus the 30-year mortgage to show people exactly what the numbers look like. And we're not going to get super nerdy. I'm not going to talk amortization schedules, Rachel, but I did want to look at this graph from our blog article on the 15 verse 30. So we're going to look at a $300,000 house, which I understand you're all like, where can you find those? This is back in the day, kids. Let's say you did 20% down on this $300,000 house. That's $60,000. Tracking? Mm-hmm. That means you'd get a mortgage for $240,000. So let's look at that same mortgage on a 15-year and a 30-year. And the blue, if you're watching on YouTube, is the mortgage loan. The orange is the amount of interest you pay. So here's the shocking part. On a 15-year fixed-rate loan with an interest rate of 3.5%, the monthly payment is $1,700, and the total interest you'd pay is $69,000 if you just paid every single payment perfectly for 15 years.
Right.
On the 30-year, you're going to have a higher interest rate at 4%. Now, the payment is lower, which is why most people do it. It's $1,146 instead of $1,716. But the total interest you pay on that 30-year, over 30 years of payments, is $172,000 that you just gave away to the lender.
Yep.
That is shocking.
I mean, almost $100,000 more. And that's, again, I get the interest rate. People are probably like, it's at 6% now.
Sure. Well, the numbers change now, but it's even worse with a 30-year at 8%.
Right. So the math is just magnified.
You're paying $350,000 on that 8% loan. So
that's why we want your mortgage paid off ASAP, because this interest, you guys, I mean, it does. It just, it racks up and you see it.
So you're paying over $100,000 more in interest to have the 30-year over the 15. I know people have great intentions. They say, well, George, I'll pay it off like a 15.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the people that really want to build wealth and they don't want to wait till they're 65, what they're doing is they pay off their 15-year mortgage in 7 or 10 years.
Right.
That's the average we found with people who follow the baby steps. Our millionaire study, 10 years is what it takes for them to pay it off.
Yes.
Baby steppers, 7 years on average to pay off their mortgage. And so that's very encouraging to see how much money you can save. And I actually shared this in my book, Rachel. I wanted to see the numbers for myself and my wife when we paid off our home. So you ready for this? Mm-hmm. We paid off our mortgage back in 2021, and I did the math on it. We would have shelled out, if we paid ours off aggressively in like 26 months because we're weird. But it was on a 15-year fixed rate. If we just made payments for 15 years, we would have paid almost $50,000 in interest. Had we opted for the 30-year loan, we would have paid over $100,000 in interest. So instead, because we paid it off even earlier, we paid just $9,000 in interest by being crazy.
And you chose well in your home. And that's our big point, you guys. I mean, some people are like, oh my gosh,
choose a modest,
you guys
affordable home.
Yes, and we know the housing. We're not completely oblivious to what is going on in the world. Like we understand rates are up, housing prices are up.
And depending on your area, yes, a starter home could be $800,000 in some areas.
Right. So like this is a reality. But the hard thing is, George, is money doesn't have emotion. Money doesn't, math doesn't care. It is what it is. And so you can't justify, okay, I'm going to go and buy a house that's my payment is half of my income just so I can say I have a house. Because you're going to feel screwed every month. It's going to feel like, oh my gosh, we have no money because you have too much house. And so expectations on when you buy a home, what kind of home you buy, have shifted in the last 3 years. And people, even some drastic things, they're moving states even because they're like, we just can't afford long-term what we want our life to look like because of this. Because again, you guys, it's the math. And that's what we have to always go back to, regardless of how much it sucks. That's the reality. And so we want you to build wealth, get there the fastest, right way. And what we found is when you do a 15-year, it forces you into a formula that makes you pay it off faster, even though you're probably going to pay it off even faster if you're doing the baby steps, which is great. But, it's a hard conversation, George. And what's even difficult about, and I'd be curious just your prediction on this with just the housing market, because in my head, when rates go down, you guys, the demand is suddenly going to open up. Everyone's going to freaking rush to buy a house because rates have gone down. And then that's going to drive the prices up again. Yep. So if you are in a position where you can put, 5% down, 10% down, 20% down, and it's, again, we use the 15-year here at Ramsey because we want you in a formula that's getting you out of debt
we don't
quicker.
like any kind of debt. Yeah. We just won't yell at you if you do a 15-year fixed rate mortgage.
Yeah, and it's, 25% of your take-home pay. That's the formula we use. And you're ready to do it, because people thought the bottom of the market was going to crash, last year? That's what everyone kept saying. And it's like,
it's going to crash.
And we kept saying it's not. It's supply and demand when it comes to this stuff, you guys. And so if you are in a position to buy, having a home is a great investment. We want you to do it the right way, though.
Absolutely. And I understand for those that want to buy a home, it's painful right now.
Sucks.
Let's call it out.
It does.
But it's harder than it was for your parents.
Yes, and the harder thing is it's not going to get easier.
So make a plan, get out of debt, get the emergency fund, start saving up that down payment, adjust your expectations. This doesn't have to be your dream home. Just get in the game. And that might be a condo or a townhome, and it might be in an area further out from the city, and it might not have all of the accoutrements and the fancy kitchen island that you dreamed of, but at least you're a homeowner. Yeah. And that's a great thing. Be proud of that.
And it's always interesting to me, George, especially houses, cars, these like big parts of our lifestyle. When you look back, in the 70s and 80s, on average, the square foot of a house was $1,400. Now it's up to like $2,600 on average, right? The average single family home. And so our expectations on life in general have changed.
If we don't have the quartz countertop, we're throwing a hissy fit.
What we've just, categorized as this normal way of living. When you look back, I look back on childhood pictures of like our home growing up, and I'm like, it's brown carpet. It's just not aesthetically pleasing, but it's okay. And now it's like, you can't even imagine having X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like, because social media, reality TV, all this stuff, we've been painted, and this picture of what life should look like has been in front of us for so long that it's normal. And God forbid, kids share the bathroom. All of that. So again, it doesn't make it easier, but I think we do have to have some level of grounding to say, gosh, what we expect in life, like it or not, the lifestyle creep thing, it is real from a generational standpoint too.
And you
used to have to wheel down windows, George, in our cars.
That was my first car, Rachel.
You would wheel down a window, and everyone was okay with that. But like, oh my gosh, could you imagine?
You know what's really embarrassing though? I'll say this was the worst part about having manual windows. Whenever someone I knew pulled up next to me, and I couldn't reach over far enough to get to the passenger side window to talk to them.
Yes, because you're like,
so I would just like wave at them awkwardly.
I know,
because I wasn't trying to pull a hamstring.
And think about our cell phones: Nokia, Cricket.
Oh,
that was it.
Simpler times.
It was no internet. You didn't have email.
Play
but
Snake
now
on the
we're
Nokia brick.
So used to having all the information, everything we want right there in our hands, right? So it's to the little things of our expectations, and I'm part of it too. I'm guilty of this. So
you're part of the problem.
I may be part of the problem. Not pointing fingers, but
no, that's good. That's a
to
good
kind of level us out. Yes,
but also don't make a terrible decision out of fear or like this FOMO, or I'll never get a house, so I just need to jump in now.
Right.
Because you'll be the next caller calling the Ramsey show saying, Rachel, I think I need to sell the house because we're so broke and so stressed. And we go, the home should be a blessing, not a burden. And what happens when you do it before you're ready is it becomes a burden.
Create your free Every Dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.
All right, next up we have Luke calling from Indianapolis, Indiana. Hey, Luke, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, thanks for calling. How can we help?
So I feel like my budget, like my margins each month, I'm not quite achieving any of my goals. I'm trying to be as aggressive as I can with my student loan repayments, but I also have a couple other things I'm saving for. My truck has not been super dependable, so I'm saving to replace that. And then I'm also getting married next year, so I'm kind of saving for those expenses and moving out and stuff. And so I'm looking at my account each month, and I'm not really getting anywhere because I feel like I'm spreading it all too thin. So maybe you guys could help me prioritize.
Yeah, well, congrats on getting engaged. That's exciting. You got some cool things on the horizon.
So how much debt do you have?
Thank you. Right now I have about $19,000 all in student loans.
All right. And what's your income?
About $50,000.
All right. And when you're doing your monthly budget, do you think it's a spending problem? Is it because you're saving toward the car and the wedding? Where do you think the problem lies? Is it an income problem?
I'm not. It could be an income problem. I'm not spending anything, and part of it could be maybe it's not necessary to save as much as I think, like for the car and for the wedding. But like I'm saving pretty much 50% of my income goes towards my debt. So I live off of the rest, and I'm saving about $400 or $500 a month, and I guess I'm just not sure. Should I make less aggressive payments on my debt and save just kind of for this season, or
how is this truck on its last leg? You said you're trying to replace your car?
It's hard to say. It's I've had to take it to the shop pretty much every month. Nothing major, but $150 here, $300 here, and that's also kind of slowing down my saving.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
A teacher. Okay. And are you doing any sort of side hustle or anything to make additional income?
I'm not. The primary reason is I teach band, and so I have a lot of after-school commitments, a lot of extracurricular activities. So I don't exactly have a normal teacher schedule.
Yeah, no, band can get pretty intense. What about off seasons? Do you have, seasons where you're not, having after-school hours with the band?
Yeah, my summers are definitely available. I've worked over the summers in the past and been able to make $3,000 or $4,000 in a month or two, like June and July.
Yeah, right now, I love that you're taking 50% of your income and throwing it towards the debt. I think right now it's just that season where it's a challenge. You got to be gazelle intense. You got to kind of go through the slog. This is the not fun part of it, but it's going to get you to a spot where once that $19,000 is out of your life, once that debt is gone, that money is going to be able to really go towards savings, and you're going to see a lot of progress. I know it's frustrating right now because you don't see that savings progress. You're going, oh man. But it's gonna get there. I think it's just kind of one of those seasons where you got to stay the course and keep pushing through.
Do you know how much you are having to pay for this wedding? Have you guys talked about with the families, who's paying what? Do you have a clear number?
Yeah, so the family is able to contribute pretty much everything for the wedding. I'm paying for the honeymoon, and then I'm also wanting to save some money just for like the first month rent and the deposit, and I have no furniture, so I live at home right now. So I'll be moving out for the first time, so I've also been saving a little bit for that.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're doing all the right things. I'd get a clear number of what I'm going to need for all those wedding expenses. If that's $4,000 for a honeymoon plus, then we backtrack that out and go, all right, every month I need to save $400 to have $4,800 12 months from now. And so you start to do that kind of math, and that gives you your goal. And if that means I need a side hustle, then go get you a side hustle for a season.
Yeah, and I think that's just important to remember that it is for a season. You're coming up on that marriage, and it's going to feel so good to do it debt-free and to be really seeing that traction with your wife as you're able to throw that money into savings.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
All right, Becca is up next in Orlando. Becca, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
I'm just checking in. Well, last week my husband's bank account was garnished, and we found you guys in the Ramsey show after trying to figure out what to do, and we're just wondering if bankruptcy is our only option or how to proceed.
Oof.
Oh, gosh, Becca. What's the situation? What's going on?
Well, it was about 8 years ago that he had a car repossessed, and that was before we were together, and he didn't realize that there was further action that needed to be taken at that time. So then last week, we just were married a year ago, and we finally merged our bank accounts and everything over. So thankfully, the account that is garnished didn't have anything in it because we combined everything on my side.
So they try to drain an empty bank account.
Correct. So we can still pay our bills because they didn't garnish our shared account through a different bank. But we don't have enough in savings to pay for the amount that we believe is owed.
Okay, how much is owed?
$9,000.
$9,000. Okay. How much do you guys make? How much do you guys make a year?
About $89,000.
Okay. Why do you feel like you would be bankrupt? I'm just curious why that was part of your question.
Well, he reached out to, I think, 4 different lawyers, and they all said that that was our best option and really didn't give us any other option. Neither of us even knew what garnishment was, so we're trying to soak up as much information, and that's why we found you guys. And we're like, let's just listen to as many shows as we can to see if we can find the answer. But we don't really know what our other option would be. The lawyers seem to think that since we were already garnished, that there's no way to make like a payment plan or anything like that.
Have you contacted this creditor who's garnishing the bank account?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and what did they say?
It sounds like they just wanted the full amount due. Sadly, I wasn't on the phone call, but my husband can't be here today.
So it sounds like there's a way out. You pay the $9,000, you get it in writing that this is paid in full and this debt is cleared.
Right. If we only have $6,000 right now. Would we need to pay it all at once?
That's a question for them. If they're willing to settle for $6 and say, hey,
this was a
this is all the money we have.
That happened a decade ago, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
they're happy to get any money at this point.
Yeah, for sure, Becca. Yeah, bankruptcy. That shouldn't even. You don't even need to say that anymore. You guys are far.
I'm shocked that these lawyers told you to bankrupt over $3,000.
This was so stupid. No, I'm like, you could sell 4 TVs and a couch and get that money if you needed it, right? I'm like, no, you're not going to be bankrupt over $3,000.
Is there something else going on that we don't know about? Like, are there other debts and things that you haven't mentioned?
I mean, we have like the regular stuff, a mortgage and like $1,800 in credit card debt, and my husband's current car that he owns, he has payments left on that.
What's left on the car loan?
On the car loan, it's the same amount in the $9,000, and then we just bought a small condo right after we got married, so we have the whole mortgage basically left on that.
And how much is that for?
$207.
Okay, yeah. Well, if I were you guys, I mean, I would contact the creditor that has this. And again, it's a 10-year-old credit. I mean, like meaning it's been passed by creditor after creditor, and it's been sold, and it's here and there. I mean, it's been on a journey for 10 years. So if I were you, I would call and say, I have $6,000. I'll send you today. And if not, I can get you the other 3 in the next 30 days or whatever it is. But I would not give them any more access to any accounts. Okay. That is like number one, because they'll come in and they'll do exactly what they did. But thankfully that was from an old account.
Right. Is there a way to prevent that? That's what I think we were worried about communicating with them more, because
you just don't give it to them. No, they don't need any access to any of your personal stuff. No. So I just wouldn't give it to them, and they don't need it. So Becca, like this type of situation, just so you can picture it, and this isn't to not to downplay these people, but this is some guy in a cubicle who's been on the job for 90 days.
There's so much turnover in that world.
And gets a sheet of paper with credits that have, again, these old debts that have been sold from one company to the other. I'm like, these are not, they sound like scary people. They're not scary people. Okay. You can do this. Okay. So just don't give over and be like, oh my gosh, you're right. If we're talking about the IRS or something, that's a different story.
Right.
But in this situation, I would not be concerned, Becca, because you guys work hard, you make good money, you can get this cleaned up really quickly. And if they would settle for $6,000, that's the only option they have. So that's what I would tell them. The only thing I can give you right now is $6,000. That's all I have. I can do a payment plan over the next 60 days to get you the other $3,000, but I don't have any more money. This is all I have. Will you settle? And if they say yes, just like George said, get it in writing, have them email you, get the name of the person you're talking to, get the number, get the extension, get
record the calls, do everything.
Do everything you can to have proof that it has been settled, if they will. And if they won't, then just, set up a plan for the next 60 days. And then, Becca, if I were you and your husband, in general, regardless of this, I would work extra. I would do a budget. I'd cut everything. I'd get this credit card paid off, get your car loan paid off. And you guys will be in a really great position. I mean, you have a great condo. It's worth $200,000, which is very reasonable for what you guys make. And you guys could be on your way to something great, but you got to just change the way you have been looking at money. And that's one of the biggest hurdles with this. So if you stay on the line, Skylar will pick up, and I want to give you guys Financial Peace University and Every Dollar Premium, which is our budgeting app, just to get you guys some of this like basic knowledge since you're new to the show, because we've found over 3 decades, Becca, the best way to go through life with your money, and this will be the plan. It's called the baby steps. So I'm excited for you guys to engage this. But yeah, do not at all feel like you are bankrupt, that you are hopeless. This is one of the easiest solutions today, George.
I feel very hopeful about this.
I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling, Becca.
Relieving.
And have your husband watch this call to give him some hope. I think what happens, Rachel, is people get spooked. There's these collectors calling them, and they're telling them, and then the lawyers are telling, well, you just got to go bankrupt. And when you look at the facts on paper, you're like, we make $90,000 a year. We're bringing home $6,000 a month. Can we come up with $3,000 if we really tried? Yes.
Yeah.
And so most
through
people
an extra
that call the
side
show,
hustle, $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah.
In just a side hustle. If you had to pick up Uber at night or
selling
delivery.
crap around the house, you can make $1,000 in a month.
Right, exactly.
So there's a lot of hope here, but a lot of people call the show and their first thing is, well, I got to file bankruptcy. And it's those people usually I'm like, oh, you're fine.
Yep.
And so that's what we do here. We want to give you guys hope, but also the reality that you can get out of this. But, it's like going to the dentist. You're like, my tooth hurts. Of course he's going to want to fill the cavity and make a little bit of money. And that's what happens when you go to some of these lawyers that are, there's some great apples out there, but there's some bad ones who go, absolutely, I'll help you file bankruptcy. Which also, by the way, costs thousands of dollars out of your pocket to file bankruptcy.
To do it, yeah.
It's not free. Lawyers want to get paid.
Yeah,
Oof.
and the garnishing, and that would spook you too, right? If you realize, oh my gosh, this creditor has access to a bank account, which thank God it didn't have any money in it. But yeah, that's so violent. Like, you know what I mean? That makes you feel like they're and that's a scary thing. Yeah.
Personal privacy there.
It is. It's weird.
Oh gosh.
Well, I'm glad you called, Becca. I hope that gave you some peace and a plan that you guys, you're going to be able to do this. We're excited for you.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.
Let's go to Cameron next in Tampa, Florida. Cameron, how can we help?
Howdy. So I'm basically just going to explain my situation, and hopefully y'all can either knock me upside the head or, say you're doing good and here's some good advice.
Are we that aggressive, Ken?
Well, if he wants us to be, sure.
Okay,
sure.
You tell us what you want,
It's
Cameron.
his show, his call.
So currently I'm in the market for looking for a home, and basically the criteria that I have for a home is, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the term house hacking, but essentially you're going to live in one room, rent out the additional rooms, and it should be enough to cover the mortgage on the house. So I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and the market is extremely aggressive. Most people are playing far above list. I've already put in offers with, $10,000 above list with a waived appraisal contingencies. Of course, they still fit the criteria that I listed out before. But is this a good plan? Is this something I should pursue further? Because basically the only way that I'm going to get a house at this point is to go way above over what the appraisal is going to be and then have just extra money that's going to be given towards the loan, kind of that I won't be able to get a mortgage for. So I guess basically my question goes out is, how far should I extend myself out? I am debt free and I do have plenty of money saved up for the house, but is this a good idea?
How much do you have saved?
So right now it's about $32,000, and that's just specifically set aside for buying a house.
And how much are these houses you're looking at?
My price range is anywhere from about $200 to $250.
Okay. So this house hacking idea, I do know about it, and it's done by a lot of the real estate investing gurus on TikTok, and they're all, pushing it. And I love that you're debt-free.
It makes me wary already.
It does. And I'm a fan of you buying the house that you can afford, regardless of who may or may not rent and who may or may not give you the money that you want.
Yeah. Can I jump in, George, before you give more financial advice? I just got to know. Why are you married, single? I need to understand, what's the purpose of buying something that you then turn around and rent 2 of the 3 bedrooms to somebody else? Is this straight investment play for you? And you're trying to, is that the deal? So that relationally, this isn't affecting your life?
No. So currently, I graduated last year from Texas and then moved to Tampa for work. I'm currently renting out an apartment. It's fairly expensive, and as I'm looking at real estate prices what rents are going for, it's only going up and up and up. The longer I hold on to money, the more it's going to be eaten away by inflation. Basically real estate's a pretty safe place to keep money, and so it's going to be basically tackling the purpose of I have a place to put my money that's safe. and I'll be able to, live for free, essentially, is kind of the hope.
There's
So
no
that'll
such
just be giving
there's no such
myself
thing
like
as free, my
20,
man. I'm
30%.
sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish.
There's your
Sorry.
first myth. You've been watching TikTok or these motivational morons that are standing by jets and taking pictures and duping people like you, and they're freaking you out and scaring you that keeping your money safe is somehow stupid. Inflation isn't going to continue at the crazy rate it is now. It's just not.
So, Cameron, let me give you some parameters that will help, because you have your own set. I'll tell you what I would do if I was in your shoes. I would save up 10 to
That's what I'm looking
20%
for.
down. You have that, but I would do it on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, and I want that payment to be no more than a quarter of your take-home pay, regardless of whoever rents. Look at that as gravy on top. And if you can afford a place like that, that's less than 25% of your take-home pay on the 15-year fix, you've got 10 to 20% down, ideally 20 or more to avoid that PMI, then I would say, hey, this is a great idea, man, which may mean you need to wait a few more months, save up a little more. And right now the market is crazy, and you're putting 10, 20 over asking. Do not waive inspections. Do not waive appraisals. That's how you get into a mess, and it goes from free to very expensive because you didn't look into all the issues. So don't rush into this. You're a young guy. You're sharp. You're doing great. But this may mean this is a 3-year journey for you instead of a tomorrow thing.
Mhm.
Not what you wanted to hear, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, you're right. Then it's something that I was prepared for. That's kind of why I came on the call, is just, like I said, to get knocked upside the head if it was necessary.
Well, we're really not knocking you upside
You're
the
not doing
head,
anything
because
dumb.
here's the deal. You're a really sharp guy, and you're debt-free, and you're young, and you've got enormous financial potential. I think what I'm hearing, Cameron, is that you're hearing some influences that make you feel like if you don't move this money and get it into real estate now, you're really blowing it. And that's simply not the case. George did a wonderful job of laying out what the risks are and what the myths are. So hang tight. Keep building. Keep hustling, man. Get more money and do it in a way that's stable and do it in a way that makes the most sense. You're fine. Stay the course.
I don't like mixing investment property with my primary residence.
Yeah.
It's got its place, but right now you got to focus on you, man. You'll do fine in life. Don't
Already
worry.
are. Doing incredible. Thank you so much for the call.
Craig is in New York City. How can we help today?
All right. So, yeah, I'm 24 years old. My whole life I was told to buy a home. And now that I'm of age to do so for myself and my wife, have a baby on the way coming January, I'm just scratching my head wondering if it's even worth it anymore. Where I live, I can't even buy like a burnt down shack for $350. So
That's the God's truth.
yeah.
Well, it feels a little hopeless right now for you in your particular situation, and you're feeling the weight of the responsibility of the new life that's getting ready to come to you, and you're like, holy crap, this just got real.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all of that to say, you might not be ready to buy a house today, and that's okay.
When you're saying your whole life you've been told you should buy a house, but do you want to buy a house?
I do want to buy a house. The freedom of owning it is a lot nicer than, we have a really good situation. We only pay $1,400 a month, which where we live is like amazing.
Oh yeah, that's a deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just want to also thank you guys because of you, we're able to pay off $30,000 of student loan debt. I could say I'm debt free now. So, which is awesome, but it's taken a long time to just, stash away. And it's, we're about a year into the process now.
Good
so
for you.
Probably have another.
Well, if you don't buy a house for 2 years or 3 years, that's fine. That's not the end of the world. And you're in a very expensive market, so it's going to take you getting on top of the income side of things and getting a good, strong down payment to make it happen. Let's pan back from that and go back to your original question, which kind of had a hopelessness tone to it. It's like, is it even worth it? Is it even worth it? Well, yeah, it is worth it. It's not worth doing it stupid. And it's not worth, buying a house you can't afford and all that kind of stuff. So take your time and do it with wisdom, but it's worth it. And here's why. 3 things happen with home ownership that make you want to do it as a long-term play versus renting your whole life. Okay? Number 1, rents go up every year. Since God was a boy, rents go up every year. I've had my real estate license since 1978. Rents go up every year. In every market. They go up every year. They don't go down. And every year. And so you're going to every year more and more and more of your money is going to go out the door for housing. And if you buy a home and you lock down your payment, your rent doesn't go up anymore. That's number one. Number two, the value of the house goes up. And when you rent, obviously you don't own anything that's going up. Number three, as we have studied millionaires, 10,000 of them, we find the primary two things that are in their bucket that allow them to build their first $1 million to $5 million worth of net worth is their 401k, Roth IRA retirement plan in good mutual funds like we teach, and a paid-for house that has gone up in value. And so getting to work to pay that off. So it's a great wealth-building tool. It stabilizes the largest line item in your budget, which is housing. And if the largest line item in your budget is going up every year, that sucks.
Yeah, it definitely leaves you vulnerable. But I think in your situation, it's kind of important to separate things out. So you've got your personal situation and thinking through, is this the right timing for us? And then you have, the market and the world and everything like that. Don't let your situation and thinking maybe you should wait a year or two make you start getting negative about the market, start looking at news articles, start getting hopeless. I mean, it's so easy to get drugged down into those feelings of negativity, especially when the whole news cycle is talking about how bad real estate is and how there's not hope for our generation and you can't buy a house now. Like, don't let your feelings and fears, get wrapped up in what the world is saying right now.
Yeah, if timing for you is bad and the market timing is bad, that does not invalidate a lifetime of real estate ownership. To your point, those are different things. Separate those out. I'll give you the first two. The last one, no, I won't give you. Lynn is with us in Minneapolis. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Hi, John. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I am a huge fan, and I'm debt-free thanks to you and your program.
Well,
so
way
thank
to go.
You so much. I am 60 years old. I make $55,000 a year as an administrative assistant, and yet I still live paycheck to paycheck because of my high rent. But I love where I live. Mm-hmm. My take-home pay is $2,600 a month, and my rent is $1,655, which is over half of my take-home pay for a one-bedroom apartment. I've been looking at purchasing a condo, but the ones I like get outbidded, and the older condos, which are more affordable to buy, have a high, like $700 in HOA fees, and I'm not comfortable with that high of a fee. So my question for you today is, I really like the convenience of renting. I'm wondering if it's in my best interest to purchase something or if it's okay to keep renting. I could find a cheaper apartment that's not as nice, but it would be like $200 less a month.
Okay.
And
your $2,600 number, if you make $50,000, is wrong.
Is wrong?
Yeah. Well, $2,600 is $30,000. You don't have $20,000 in taxes. Do you make $50,000 a year? Is that what your salary is based on? Are you getting Are you getting a huge refund, or are you counting stuff that's coming out of your check other than taxes when you're telling me what your take-home pay is?
Oh, I'm counting, that's like what it comes out for my benefits and my retirement.
Okay. How much are you putting in? How much are you putting in retirement?
Okay. I do 4%, which is required for an 8% match. Mm-hmm. And then I do another 1% on top of that. So that comes to $2,857 a year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Your benefits expensive? Or are you getting a big tax refund every year?
I'm not, because I also get spousal support, and I have to pay taxes on that.
Okay.
So I just keep out what I need for taxes, and I got hit really big this year for some reason.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with how we go from a $50,000 income to a $30,000 take-home pay. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find where that money's going. Okay, and it didn't go to retirement.
My paychecks are like $1,384, and I get paid. Well, maybe and I do get paid 26 times a year.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit better. So
it's
we're up to about $35,000 at this point, but still, there's still some money. I mean, I'm not saying it's missing. I just don't know what you're doing with it exactly. So, okay, the answer to your question in overall, without trying to figure out what to do today about it, is that if you're 60, for the next 30 years, can you imagine what rents are going to do?
Yeah, that scares me because I had an increase one year of $150 a month.
Yeah, and it's like that's the problem with being a renter in perpetuation.
Yeah,
It's the largest portion of your income goes to housing, and you lose control of how much it increases when you are at the mercy of the landlord. And so you don't want to be a renter for the next 30 years because that's going to it's going to increase versus if you bought that condo, you've locked in what it costs you, not counting the HOA fees, but you've locked in your cost per month for the next 30 years. And so I'm moving in some way towards one of these condos in some method, figuring out how I'm going to get there and what have I got to do to cause that to happen, because that's a better long-term play for you. We also know that the folks that reach $1 million net worth, the vast majority of them, well over 80% of them, the primary source of their wealth is two things: their retirement plans and their paid-for house. And so, if you end up with a $700,000, $800,000 net worth, in 10 or 15 years over time here, which you probably could do, a portion of that, a third of that, half of that or whatever would be your paid-for condo that you got paid off in the next 15 years. So I want that stability in your long-term plan. That's why we don't want to be a renter long-term. But it doesn't mean we're stupid in the short term, and you go out there in the name of not renting anymore, you go do something foolish and buy something you can't afford.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of young couples do. When they get married, they have to rush out and buy a house that they can't afford.
Or you get in a bidding war and suddenly you're way out on thin ice.
She was very wise to walk away from those bidding wars. She said it went up and I tapped out.
That's right.
And that's very, very smart. Ryan is starting off this hour in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Hey, Ryan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thanks, Dave. It's an honor to speak with you and John.
You too. What's up?
I am wondering, for my wife and I, if now is a great time or is the right decision to take out a home equity loan to finish our basement and make substantial renovations to our house.
What do you, we're not in the home equity loan business around here. We're in the get out of debt business. So what makes you think that we would tell you to go into debt to do this?
Well, I normally wouldn't, but looking at the website and reading some of the information on your website, it obviously doesn't advise home equity loans.
Right.
It does say, however, that if there was a time to do it, it would be to make substantial renovations to your home.
I hope that's not on my website.
On this website?
If it is, I need to know where it is so I can punch somebody in the content team and have that taken off. No, that shouldn't be on. I think you were reading Motley Fool.
No, I promise. I searched Dave Ramsey home equity loan. It took me to RamseySolutions.com. It had a whole write-up on home equity loans, and it talked about all
right,
the
James, you can go ahead and pull that now so that we can get that pulled. I'm sorry. Apparently, there's someone inside this building that doesn't understand what we do. We'll have to work on that. That happens sometimes. We hire new people, and they have to be trained. I'm sorry. You got bad information. No, we don't tell you to take out a home equity loan, ever.
Wow.
Never done that one time in 30 years. So, sorry for the mistake. That's awful that we misled you that way. Let's go back and try to figure out your problem, though, and solve it rather than just slapping around the issue. What does it cost to do the basement, and what's it cost to do the other renovation? Two different numbers. And what do you guys make a year? Three different numbers.
It's kind of tough. I live in a commission based, and I'm in a company that I haven't worked a full year, but roughly take-home pay is around $125,000.
Okay.
The renovations, again, rough guess on just average square footage cost per square foot for the basement, probably somewhere in the $25,000 to $40,000 range, depending on what we'd want to do, and then just some other renovations. Probably in the neck of somewhere 50,000. In
addition to the 25 and 40 in the basement?
No. Sorry,
so a total
renovation
package
cost somewhere in the 45.
Total
to
package,
$50,000.
$45,000 top side. Of that, 10 or 15 upstairs and 30 downstairs.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just break this project up into slices that we can eat, that we can chew, and save up the $15,000 and do the upstairs, and then save up the $30,000 and do the downstairs. Do you have any money?
Yeah, we do. It was just more again looking at the website.
Do you have any money? How much money do you have?
Well, we're still in the and it wasn't necessarily like a due immediately right now. We have a little bit of debt that we're cleaning up. We're working the Snowball. It was more just like in the next few months, would this be something that we'd think about doing?
No, you won't.
So no, we don't have it. We don't have very much money because we are working the debt Snowball.
Okay. How much money do you have?
Yeah, right around that $1,000 emergency fund, and then we're cash rolling pretty much everything else to the debt.
Okay, and how much debt have you got?
We have just a little over $10,000 in student loan debt.
Good.
And then we have about a little less than $20,000 on just personal loan.
Oh, so you got $30,000 left to go, and you're acting like that's going to happen in 30 seconds. So saving $30,000 to do the basement shouldn't take long either.
Yeah.
After you're out of debt. So, yeah. I apologize for our website having bad stuff on it. Did you find it?
I did. It just says, here's what you can use a HELOC for if you get one. It's saying this is what common uses are. It doesn't recommend it. It says it's debt right after that, and then it says why you shouldn't.
Okay. So it says on there not to do it, but it just says some people do this, but we say don't do it. Okay. So I guess it wasn't our content people that get punched. You misinterpreted the article.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel better.
Yeah.
I was all worried. Because, you got 1,000 people in the building. Sometimes somebody goofs up,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's almost like he read into that email what he wanted. I mean, into that blog what he wanted.
Yeah, he wants to do this basement, and I got a feeling he's going to do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's the way it sounded. But here's the thing. The answer to the question, you need to always set the bar out into the future somewhere. Here's the bar. I want to be wealthy. I want to be a baby steps millionaire so that I can be outrageously generous and change my family tree. Okay. Then once you say that, then you say, what is the shortest, fastest, most probable way for me to get there? The highest probability and the shortest time for me to get there. It's not borrowing on a HELOC to do your basement.
Right.
It's paying cash to do your basement. And then you don't have the basement following you to work every day, so to speak. And so, no. And you've got, the same information that convinced you to get out of debt should have convinced you to never make this phone call, because you should have been saying, I don't ever want to go back in debt. So something's broken here.
Right. And I understand. I just did this at my house, Dave. My back patio, if you will. It's a deck. It was old. It fell off. I mean, it was falling off the house. And so
That's kind of trashy.
It was. I had to have somebody come out and look at it. And I said, hey, there was an issue with the way they did the post on my front. I have a long front porch that goes across the whole front of the house. Give me a price on that too while you're out here. And they looked at it all, gave me a great price, great deal. I had the cash to do the one on the back. Mm-hmm. And he's like, man, I can cut you a deal. I said, I know, that's great. Let's do the one on the back. And I didn't like it. And that's what we had to do. That's the cash that we had, right? And we got a great back deck. And now I've got a plan for if we're going to move on to do the front one.
Yeah, fix the front porch eventually.
And here's what's funny. Now that I broke it up, it's going to be several years because it falls back on the priority list. But had I been doing this with a loan, I just would have, let's go ahead and just do it all, right? Oh, yeah. I would have spent money I don't have for a project that isn't a do or die project right now.
100% of the time, whether you're buying a shirt, a car, a deck, a house, spending borrowed money activates a different place in your brain emotionally than spending your own money. Some people call it real money. Like when you're spending real money versus other people's borrowed money, then you make different decisions. Right. And it causes you to process these whole things differently. Who you hire as a contractor is even different. This is The Ramsey Show.
All right, up next we got Jack in Grand Rapids. Hey, Jack, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great. How can we help?
All right, so I have a question about the morality of my job. So I'm a
what do you do, man?
Person. I'm a car salesperson.
Okay, you don't deal drugs.
You're a murderer or something.
You're dealing drugs, something crazy.
That's not near what I was hoping you were going to say. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it's not as interesting maybe as you hope. Yeah, so obviously a huge part of my job is signing people up for car loans, which ever since listening to you guys, I don't entirely agree with. I don't think it's the right path, and I kind of feel bad for customers, but at the same time, I know it's, my duty to do that. So I've been struggling a little bit with kind of the moral responsibility of that. I know I'm not the one signing them up. I'm not the finance person, but, I know what's happening. I know what's happening to them when they go in the office, and just something that I've been dealing with. I'm giving advice of, am I morally responsible for that? Should I be seeking some other work? Because this job has been a big blessing for my family. So just maybe seeking some guidance with that.
I think everybody I've ever met has a moment when they walk by the mirror and look in it and ask themselves, is the job they're doing or the people they're working for or the culture of their job or the time away from family that has some sort of value misalignment, and they have to ask themselves, is this okay with me? And so what I would tell you is, I've got my personal opinion. I think it's way more valuable for you to make that choice. And it sounds like you've made that choice. You just realize, and I go back to people who, and again, this isn't about the vax or anti-vax, but people were told to keep your job, you will get this vaccination. And some said, okay. And some said, I'm going to forego my paycheck because I'm not doing this. Often our values cost us something. And it sounds like your values, you know what you feel. You don't feel good about what you're doing. And again, I've got people who I love who are in the car industry. So that's why I'm not put it out there. But for you, you're having a harder time looking in the mirror. And so I would tell you, go with your guts, what your values are, and then know that's probably going to cost you something. And it's not something, by the way, you have to walk in on Monday and quit, right? It might be something that you say, this is not going to be what I do
the
long-term
play. Yeah. We've had many people, bankers, that have
Bankers,
called the show
yeah.
and they end up doing this and like, I just can't anymore. And here's the deal too, Jack, and we say this all the time, that debt is not a sin, right? This is not a salvation issue. This is not a thing that like, it's not. You can have debt and, in the faith world, still love Jesus, like go to heaven, right? Like this is not a salvation issue, but it is down to a little bit of that moral dilemma for yourself. And how do you feel? Do you feel good at the end of the day? And I think some people can hold that and walk forward, and some people can't, just out of a personal conviction.
Yeah, we call those people psychopaths, right? I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I was like,
no. But yeah, that's one of those areas.
I
It's
think people
different
can
for everybody.
reconcile. Yeah, they can hold it different ways, right? Or am I a psychopath? Maybe.
I got a TikTok account. I do it every day. Like, what am I doing?
You're a
with my life?
YouTuber, John.
Trust me, I know.
All right, this is the Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Let's go to Ethan in Kalamazoo. Hey, Ethan, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, how can we help?
So I just had some questions. So I just turned 18 and I graduated a couple months ago, and I just don't really have any idea like what to do with my money.
Okay. So you're 18 years old, graduated from high school. What are you doing now? Are you in school? Are you working?
I'm a pipe fitter and a pipe welder.
Okay, good for you. How much are you making?
I make $20 an hour, so about $2,400 a month.
Okay. Good for you. Are you living at home or are you on your own?
Yes, ma'am.
You're at home? Okay. Awesome.
How much money do you have?
Right now I have about $3,000 saved up in a checking account, and then I have, I think, $2,500 in a money market, and then I have another $300 something for bills.
Okay. And do you have any debt?
No, sir.
Great. And what's your question?
So I was just like wondering, because I feel like my whole life people said renting like apartments was like super bad and stuff, and then I heard a couple times from you guys that renting apartments isn't always the worst idea, and I just figured since I'm young I don't want to get in any debt ever. You know, it scares me now after I've watched your guys' shows for 10 hours a day. And so I was just like wondering, like, what's okay to be in debt for and like what's not okay.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Well, if you've listened to the show for 10 hours a day, you'll know that we are anti-debt all the way, anytime. We don't think there's any such thing as good debt. And the only debt we don't yell at you for is a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage that you're attempting to pay off early. So outside of that, we don't believe there's any good debt, that it should be leveraged, that it's some kind of tool. We've only seen it cause pain and harm in the long term, and the ones that brag about it just haven't been burned yet. And so at 18, man, if you can get a hold of those principles now, you're going to be unbelievably wealthy.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a great life.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and the renting thing, Ethan, yeah, we're not against renting. I mean, renting buys people a lot of patience and gets them in a position financially then to be able to put a good down payment on a house, get out of debt, do some things. And where a lot of people feel like it's just throwing your money away, for us, there's a level of risk that you don't have when you don't own a home, because owning a home, I mean, it can be expensive. I mean, from roof issues. We just had our chimney had to be completely basically redone in the inside. And so they've been working all week at that. We had stuff with our roof last year, appliances go out. I mean, it's just, there is so much that you pay for as a homeowner. When you rent, you don't have that expense. So there's a beauty to that, right? We eventually, Ethan, want you to have a house, because owning a home and real estate being part of your overall financial picture is a great thing. And we are all about it, but we want you to do it the right way. But you're 18. So my question for you is, are you going to school? Are you going to do trade? Are you going to be doing this job, do you think, for the near future? Are you happy living at home? Do you want to be out on your own? Where are you at with just your life stages right now?
It would be nice to be out on my own, but just like the apartments in my area, like just a studio, those cost about like $1,100 to $1,300 a month, and that's well over half of my monthly income right now.
Yeah.
I don't really plan on going to school. The place I work for, they do an apprenticeship, and so hopefully I'll start that up in September.
Okay. And will that cause a raise to occur?
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. What will you think you'll be making?
I'm hoping they'll give me another $1, so about 21.
Okay.
But the thing is in 4 or 5 years, when I'm done with the apprenticeship and once I become a journeyman, I'm expected to make around $50 an hour.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You'll be 6 figures by then.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
So great, Ethan. So what I wouldn't be in a rush with the housing situation. I mean, I think eventually you'll get to a point, maybe when you're 19, 20.
And go get a roommate. That's what I had, roommates up until I was married.
Yeah.
And so get a 2-bedroom, and
That's
it may be $800 or $900 a month if you split it, and go do that for a while, and that will give you a sense of independence. It'll help you learn how to be an adult. And Dave always says that an eagle that doesn't leave the nest is eventually a turkey. So it's good.
And I don't think
it's good for your spirit.
It is,
if you can get out.
But Ethan, I feel like such a mom right now. Where I'm like,
Ethan's
good
boy.
He's only been out of. You haven't. I mean, I guess it'll be coming up on a year. Did you graduate last May from high school?
No, I graduated early, so I graduated right before Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Okay, so you've only been out of school for 3 months, right? Out of high school.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so yeah. I just feel like you're just so young. I'm like, you don't have to go live on your own apartment right now.
No, but if he's saying that's something he wants to do,
yes,
I don't want people to feel like, well, once I get out, I need to go buy a house.
That's right. No. Yeah. And if you want to go and rent an apartment and go do it, that's great. But I do feel like you've had a lot of life shifting and you're learning how to be an adult right now. And if you don't have to pay for rent right this moment, and
yeah,
I think that's a great thing. But I would have plans to move out, right? To get to your point, George. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And while you're at home,
it brings dignity.
I would save every single penny.
Yes.
This is such an amazing season where you don't have many bills. And what happens, and I lived this out when I was 18 living at home, is I started working and I just spent every paycheck because they didn't have bills. So I was like, what else are you going to do? I'm 18. Let's go have fun. And I just bought gear and stupid crap, and I could have been saving and I could have been paying off student loans, but I was just being an idiot.
Just an
18-year-old
lad.
chucklehead.
Just a little old lad, George.
You won't be me, Ethan. You're going to do great.
No,
but here's the thing. Pay cash for your next car. That's where 18-year-olds go wrong. So what are you driving now?
I have a Ford Ranger.
Is it doing well for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty reliable. I've had it for almost 2 years now.
Cool.
So great. Yep. So yeah, I would do what George said. Just stockpile some money. Have a date to say, okay, by I don't care when it is, September or something, 6 months from now or whatever, I'm going to really seriously look at moving out, being on my own. And honestly, then I think there is something about when you work and you're not in school, you do feel more like an adult, right? I mean, like there's a sense you're bringing in a bunch of money and you're gonna, that itch to move out will probably happen sooner than later. I just don't want you to feel like you have to rush out right now because you've just had a lot of life change. But have a date, talk to your parents about it too, and just over communicate with them, like, because you sound like a very responsible guy, and so I think having that plan is great. And that money market account is a great place to be doing your emergency fund. So I would build it up to 3 to 6 months of expenses, which it will increase when you move out because you'll have housing and all of that. But just be putting money away in that money market account, and I think just be saving and avoid debts, and then be looking at investing soon after you get that emergency fund. I mean, there's some things you can be doing. If you hold on to the line, Ethan, I'm going to give you George's book, Breaking Free from Broke, because
Cheers.
He does a great job laying out so many of the myths in our world today when it comes to money in our culture and our generation. And I think as you start, diving into adulthood more and more, you're going to hear more and more opinions about money. And George does a great job refuting. Is that the right word?
Oh, yeah. Great word.
Thanks. Man, really
Yeah, that
pulled that one out. Refuting a lot of the myths and the lies that people have fallen into.
It will keep you away from debt for the rest of your life. I promise you. If you read that book, it makes you want to take a shower when I just lay out the facts. And Ethan's already right there, but it's easy at 18. You start working. You feel like you need to increase your lifestyle, and you start comparing.
Score, and
My
you hear all
buddy
this
just got
stuff,
he just got a Camaro. You got to just turn down the noise and all of that and focus on your goals. That's what the kids want these days.
Sports, really?
I don't know why.
Are Camaros the thing?
I saw some nods out there. The
Wow.
18-year-olds love a Camaro. They love a little muscle car.
Who knew? Bringing it
I got my
back.
finger on the pulse, Rachel.
Man, you know what's going on, George. You're
I'm
so
a car
hip.
guy.
So hip.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I am on baby step 2. I have been on baby step 2 for about a year. My conundrum is I have an opportunity to take a job in a really remote location, really far away from family. My kids are grown, but I was widowed about 25 years ago and raised them all on my own. But the positive to all of this is that it comes with a lot of financial benefit to help out with student loan debt and such. And I'm kind of feeling guilt for wanting to do this, going so far away from family for financial. So I'm kind of like, is it loving money that I want to do this for? Or does
No,
it
you love
just
freedom, and you're wanting to be free of the debt.
Right.
That's not loving money. That's wanting to be free. That's a valid
sacrifice.
That's a valid thing. So, it's what I always look at on something like this is what's the return on the effort, and what's the time frame? Because I could do anything for a short period of time. I don't want to sign up for 10 years in Uganda or whatever it is, right? I mean, no, thank you.
2 years.
2 years. And how much do you make now? How much would you make if you did this? And how fast will you get out of debt?
Well, it would basically give roughly about $100,000 toward my student loan debt, so it would cut it over half, and it would give me a lot of financial freedom after that 2 years, like coming back and actually being able to spend time with grandkids and such.
So you would be debt free after 2 years?
Close to debt free, yeah. I would probably still have maybe about $30,000 in student loan debt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And if you stay the course you're on now, how long would it take to pay off the debt?
Hopefully Social Security will pay it off.
Yikes.
It's
No,
gonna be a
it
bet.
won't either.
It won't. No, it won't. So yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 53.
So you're
But
saying you have no other real, I mean, how much student loan debt did you run up?
Hey, it's George. That's right. I've been here the whole time, just creeping. Kind of like the creepy spammers and scammers out there using and selling your personal data. Not cool, guys. Not cool. And that's why you need to check out Delete Me. Delete Me will find and remove your info from all of these data broker sites to reduce the risk of spam and scam in your life. Delete Me has already removed my info from over 250 websites that don't have any business having it. And as a Ramsey fan, you'll get 20% off all of their plans, which comes out to less than $9 a month. So after this clip, go sign up and take control of your privacy at joindeleteme.com/Ramsey or click the link in the description to get the deal. All right, back to the call.
How much student loan debt did you run up?
I ran up 120,000, but kicking the can down the road, as you say, it's close to about 165 right now. I used it to supplement my income, raising my kids. When my husband died, my kids were young. We had nothing. It was a suicide, so we literally had nothing. So I stayed at home, went to college late, and I did it so that I could
How long ago
be with them.
was his death?
25 years ago. I was 20.
So this has been following you forever.
For a while, yeah.
And you could give up 2 years and be done.
Yes, and my kids are supportive. I think
emotionally, the trade-off is, okay, 25 years of hell, 2 years I can be rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good trade.
The kids will be okay.
That is not you chasing money. It is you chasing freedom.
Okay. I needed to hear that. I think from a Christian standpoint,
I agree.
That's
I agree.
what I hear. Yeah.
I agree. It's not greed that's driving this. It's anything but. It's quite the opposite. It's you have had the hell beat out of you financially.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're wanting to get this behind you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. This is Band-Aid ripoff.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. I mean, I was brought up by a Marine, so I'm okay with that hard work. I don't have a problem with that. I just wanted to, from a Christian financial standpoint, wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think it's quite the opposite. From a Christian financial standpoint, I think this is time for my daughter, my sister, the widow, to be free. I think she's been under the thumb of the freaking government long enough with these student loans beating her to death. I would love for you to be free, daughter.
Awesome.
Now, what are they going to pay at the remote location? Actual pay.
Actual pay. It'll come out to be about $95,000 gross.
Okay, and then they're going to pay off a bunch of your student loan debt, and they're probably providing housing because you're in the middle of nowhere or something like that.
Housing is cheaper. I'm going to be renting a room from somebody. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and you have 120,000 left.
Roughly.
And they're going to pay how much of that?
Up to $100,000. So it's $50,000 per year. Yeah.
Okay. Then you're making 95 and living in a no place, nowhere, one bedroom. You should be able to pay off the rest of it. I don't want you to come home with any debt.
Right. That would be my hope.
No, it's not a hope. It's a plan.
Yeah. Well, true.
I mean, you're making 95,000. They're paying 100 of the 120. Find the other 20 in 2 years, kiddo. Be done with this thing.
Absolutely.
Rear view mirror. Look in the past and go, that's where that needs to stay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other debt?
I have a credit card of like $8,000 from I had teeth repaired this year. So,
okay, you got to stop. You got to stop using this stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be clear. Your goal is freedom, 100% freedom. Cut the card up, look at your budget and go, I'm not doing anything. And these student loans are going to die. This mess that I've lived through is going to be in my rearview mirror, and I'm going to have a fresh start when I am 55 years young.
Yeah.
The encore. The curtain goes up, you take a bow, and you take one more act in the play.
Yeah.
And it's going to be amazing because you're going to be, first time you're going to be free because you have poured your life out for everyone else to take care of the kids and to make sure everybody's okay and then to pay these stinking bills. And now you're going to go give up 2 years of your life to take care of these bills. You're a strong, cool woman. I like you a lot. You're amazing. Go get it done, sister. Get it done. But be 100% done when you come home. Don't screw around with this. Knock it out. Be done with it. That's very cool.
I like it. First time she's going to be debt-free in her adult life. Man. It's going to taste different.
Ouch. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Jessica is with us in Houston, Texas. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay. Well, our situation is that my husband and I have been married for 5 months, and we're trying to decide if it's the right time to buy a house. We currently rent a tiny one-bedroom apartment for like $600 a month, and I just feel like we're throwing away this money every month. I've never borrowed money for anything, and that's why we came into the marriage with the plan of buying a house cash, but maybe a mortgage makes more sense in the situation. I just don't know what's the bigger evil to throw away money on rent or pay interest to the bank.
Well, if rent is a way of life throughout your entire life, yes, you're throwing money away. If it is patience while you're waiting to do a wise thing, then it's not throwing it away. You're just paying for patience a little bit. Now, so let's talk it through. What is your household income?
About $85,000 a year.
Phenomenal. And you have zero debt?
Zero debt.
And how much have you saved during the 5 months?
Well, we've saved $20,000 in the 5 months, but I came into the marriage with $100,000, so now we have $120,000.
Okay. And you live in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
And so if you waited another 5 months, you'd have $140,000.
Yes, that's what we're projecting.
Pretty easily, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Probably more, actually. But, well, I mean, what can you buy for $150,000? A lot more than you're living in right now.
Yes, definitely. We probably could buy a lot more than we're living in now for like $100,000. And I don't know if we should just buy that and it still be smaller, but or if we should just go ahead and buy something we can grow into, like when we start having kids. And
Well, I mean, you can move.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you could buy something and then 2 years from now sell it and move up, and by then you would have saved another $50,000 or $100,000. Probably. Well, I mean, you don't even have any rent that way, so you'd have a lot, maybe even more. So I mean, if you bought something for $100 now, 2 years later you could buy something for $200.
Yeah, so that's what we're thinking. We don't know if it's better just to keep saving and pay the rent, or just buy something small now and
well,
then.
you threw out a mortgage. I don't think a mortgage is necessary. Okay, here's kind of your balance. All right. Number one, I don't think you need a mortgage because you have done so well. I mean, you are dadgum financial rock stars. You're amazing what you've done. How old are you?
I'm 26 and my husband's 30.
You've done extremely well. Very well. So to start with, let's just say that you're in the top 1% out there of smart people with money. I mean, you're really doing good. So what would I do if I woke up in your shoes? You've been married 5 months. I would probably wait until next spring.
Okay.
At that point, you will have been married a year, and I would buy something within the cash that you have by then.
Okay.
Which you're going to have 100. You're going to have 150 plus by then.
Yeah.
And I'm going to buy something for that. And that gets me out of the one bedroom. And it if I know I've got a deadline, I can hold my nose a little better with the one bedroom.
Yeah, it's just hard also knowing that you're basically paying all that money out and you're not getting anything back for it.
Yeah, you are. You're getting patience. You're getting patience. And you're just a tightwad. I love you. You're awesome. And so that's probably what I would do. Okay. And then I would keep saving like a maniac and plan to move up $100,000 a year or two from now. A couple of years from now, and then you may do it again. There's nothing wrong with it. You could just keep doing that perpetually till you're living in a $1 million paid-for house. You know, if you move up $100,000 every 2 years, that doesn't take but a few years to do that. Plus, these houses are going to be going up in value while you own them. So
yeah, and that's the other thing. That's why I was like, should we get into a house now, knowing that that's going to go up in value instead of paying rent?
You got time. You got time. You're okay. So the second reason I'm telling you to wait till next spring is a good rule of thumb. If you're married, your first marriage, and you're under 30, is to spend a year being married to get to know each other before you buy a house together. Okay. And you'll make a wiser house purchase after a year of marriage because you will have ironed out the wrinkles of the first year. First year is always kind of fun, and it's also got its own little special problems. And so, you know, you get that stuff figured out. The way I laughingly say it is, it takes a year of being married to know how close to your mother-in-law to buy.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to hang curtains together till you've been married a year. You know, it's enough to cause a divorce right there. So, you know, these are just funny things, but they kind of indicate what I'm talking about. And so I love for you to just concentrate on your marriage and saving and have a goal. Okay, when the weather breaks next spring, we're going to start looking. And, set your lease up. When's your lease up?
We actually don't have a lease.
Okay, then you're fine. So you can just set it up and say, okay, in February we're going to start looking, and we're probably moving into our new place in March or April because that's going to be your next spring in Houston, right?
Yes.
That's fine, and you're going to be able to save a ton of money by then. And then you kind of smile and go, hey, let's make a game out of it. How much money can we save? Maybe we get a $175,000 house next spring. I don't know. You guys make good money. You got no bills, and you are tightwads. You're awesome. You're just absolutely impressive. So that's what I would do if I woke up in your shoes. I would pay cash for whatever I did. Now, if you want to jump the gun and do it right now, I think you might make an error, but I don't think it's a death error. I don't think it's going to kill you. But if you do, pay cash for whatever you do, because you're in a position to move into something nicer than you live in today and pay cash for it. It puts you in exactly that situation. So, hey, good question. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, you guys, Rachel Cruz here. Hope you're enjoying the Dave Ramsey Show. And did you know that I have my very own YouTube channel? Yes, that's right. It's kind of better than the Dave Ramsey channel. Don't tell them I said that. I'm kidding. So subscribe, and there's lots of videos about life and money. So while you're at it, if you want to check out a video, then you can check out how to do a monthly budget. It's one of the best videos out there.
Brett is with us in Provo, Utah. Hi, Brett. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. What's up?
So me and my family, we have been renting for the last year while paying off student loans. We paid off $115,000 of student loans.
Way to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. So we're at a point now where we're looking to save up for a down payment on a house. And the house we would be looking to buy, it would take us about 3 years to get a down payment for that house. But we're wondering if maybe it might just be smarter to wait another 3 years, so a total of 6 years to pay for a house in cash.
How much of a down payment are you doing in 3 years? 50%?
Yeah, it's pretty much close to that. Yeah, houses are pretty
How did you
crazy
determine
here in Utah.
50% as a down payment?
Just for the house we were looking at for $800,000.
I know, you said you can do 50% of the house price in 3 years.
Right. Yes.
$400,000.
I guess 350 is what I was looking at.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you make?
260.
Way to go. Good for you. How old are you guys?
I'm 32 and my wife is 29.
Okay. Well, this is one of the, maybe the only answer that I ever give here on the air that is not what I would do, but what is okay to do, okay? What I do, the way I live my life for the last 30-plus years now since I went broke, is I don't borrow money, period, for anything ever. And so I have to figure out a way to cash flow it, because there is nothing that I want badly enough or that I'm scared enough of to go in debt for it. I have been there, done that. I didn't like the T-shirt. I'm not doing it anymore, okay? I truly do believe that the Bible is telling the truth, that the borrower is slave to the lender, and I truly don't borrow money. And I do believe that that is the shortest path to wealth, by the way, okay?
Yes.
The starting few years is rough, but the ending years are amazing. So now, having said all of that, then it's the only advice we give here on the air that I don't personally follow, and that is if you take out a mortgage with a good, strong down payment, 50% is more than a good, strong. A good, strong down payment would be 10 or 15 or something like that. 20 would avoid PMI. That's good. And your payment on a 15-year fix is no more than a fourth of your take-home pay. If you did that in your case, you could then pay that house off within 6 years.
Right.
And if you could pay cash for it in 6 years, you could pay it off in 6 years. And obviously, anyone who pays their home off in 6 years is way weird compared to the culture. So you're weird no matter where we are on this spectrum.
Yeah.
And you're heading in the your face is under the column of smart people no matter what we do on this spectrum.
That's right.
So either one of those is fine. So it's just a matter of
So
some would call me a legalist, some would call me a purist. Some would just call me not a hypocrite, but but that I don't borrow. So you can do either by Ramsey guidelines, anywhere in between those two things, and be there. So you could put down 50%, you could put down 80%, you could put down 20% on a 15-year fix where the payment's no more than a fourth of your take-home pay, and it wouldn't be in this case, and then turn and pay it off as fast as you can. All of that is within our guidelines because we know that that's going to lead you to wealth.
Brett, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Way
32.
to go, man. Way to go.
Amazing.
What do you do for a living?
So I'm a nurse anesthetist.
Ah, good. Very good. You're killing it, man.
So yeah, and,
so proud
and that
of
was
you.
where I was kind of having the question between the two, just because is there any measure on if it's harder for kids to move when they're older? That was kind of what we were going between two.
I mean, I wouldn't want to wait. I wouldn't want to move in high school if that's what you're asking. I think that kids are very resilient. I think that by the time they, once they put down roots, if you get into those high school years, it can be a little bit tough. But I mean, you can recover from anything. But yeah, when you've got kids now, how?
So the oldest is 7, so 7, 5, and 3.
7, they're all right.
She would be 13. If we waited the full 6 years to pay.
Well, and that's also assuming you get absolutely no increases in income.
Right.
Right. Yeah. True. It's a good point.
Which is weird because when I start saving towards something that I want really bad, what I'll do is work my butt off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my income goes up and, I'm able to just attack it. And so my guess is that it won't take you as long as the math on a straight line without any increases in pay says. Okay, that you should have, because your intensity will go up and your income will probably go up both during this time. So it'll probably be 4 or 5 years. But same thing's true of paying the house off.
Yeah, exactly.
If you bought it and we're living in it. So we're not going to yell at you for either one.
I just love the options that you're looking at. I love that you're calling in here talking about 50% down or 100% down. That's a wonderful quandary to be in. You've got options.
You got your head in the right place, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And so, again, I truly do believe these principles, and so I truly believe that if I live them, I'm going to be the safest in the event of a pandemic. I'm sitting in a building that's worth, I don't know, what's this thing worth now? $300 million, and it's paid for. It's paid for. And so I didn't have to worry during the pandemic that we couldn't make the payments here.
Yeah.
Okay. That allows this bald head to lay on a pillow and sleep. It just is a different world.
So the team has teed up this video. I want to get your reaction.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's do this.
For LEGO enthusiast Lucas Letrick, these aren't just toys.
This is the LEGO Creator Palace Cinema.
They're serious moneymakers that he buys and sells for profit. The biggest online database of collectible LEGO sets lists $1.2 billion worth of the toys around the world.
LEGO Tron up here, we're in the $300 to $400 range. This LEGO TIE Fighter, $200 a piece is what these are selling. The returns that I typically will see is somewhere between 150 to 250% on a LEGO set.
Researchers say Letrick is one of tens of thousands who, concerned by the recent volatility of stocks and bonds, are betting on the reliable returns from this tiny but growing market.
Wow. Dude.
Move over, crypto.
Back that thing up, Beanie Babies.
Wow.
We have a new toy in town.
Okay, so this brings me to an article, John. Here's the headline for you. Adults are buying toys for themselves, and it's the biggest source of growth for the industry, and there's a new name for these people. They are called kidults. They have a great fondness for cartoons, superheroes, Star Wars, Lego, and in recent years, toy makers like Mattel have created lines just for these consumers.
Because they're stupid. That's why.
Well, think about it. They have the nostalgia, and they have the buying power.
They've got money now. Right. You know how many times I've tried to convince my wife that this new guitar or hunting
It's
like
an
deer rifle
investment,
is an
babe.
investment. Yeah. No, my truck is an investment. It's going to depreciate and then suddenly reappreciate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you know who
geez,
can't
man.
afford this? Kids. And so, I mean, it's astronomically expensive these days, but there's some fascinating stuff in here in the article, and there's one that's connected to it that's interesting. Investing in Lego, more lucrative than gold, a study suggests.
Okay, I hate these. Oh, gosh, you're giving me hemorrhoids.
That's apples to apples.
I hate these
A brick
snapshots.
of gold, a brick of Lego.
The
it's all
snapshots.
the
The worst. So I'm 100% for buying toys if you got it. Buy whatever, dude. If you got the money, have a great
same.
time.
You've got your weird hobbies.
I've got so many weird hobbies. And my son is down with the Legos. I love them. Dude, I could sit there and do Legos all day. It's quiet. We put on some music. It's awesome. I love Legos. I love them. To lie to yourself and others about them being a investment property. Dude. If it all goes down.
We'll be trading in Legos, right?
And someone comes to my house and they're like, hey, I've got a tin of coffee and some cigarettes. Can I have a Starfighter Lego set? It's not going to happen. It's trading more lucrative than gold because we have more money than cents. And there's more circulating dollars, which means there's more of things we can buy. And there's people right now on Etsy or eBay or whatever going, that guy's full of crap. What an idiot. Whatever. You're cool. Keep buying and selling toys. Knock your lights out. Rock on till the break it on, dude. You're going to be sitting. I'm just sitting with people who've got a lot of guitars. They got a lot of guns. They've got a lot of whatever. This is my investment, bro. We'll sell some. They're getting way less than they thought on average, or it's just imaginary, dude. It's just like
we all have those Beanie Babies in the attic where we were going, I could have sold those at one point.
I'm gonna stop right there. I don't
$150.
have a Beanie Baby. I know you have a huge collection.
I sold mine.
Okay.
No, I don't know where they went, John.
But yes, we all have things that are like, no, it's worth this much, bro.
But it's pretty. I mean, it's a fascinating stat if you just look at it.
Oh, it is.
The article says, the market for secondhand Lego rises in value by 11% annually, which is faster and better than the rate of return than gold stocks, bonds, stamps, and wine.
In the last decade or two, when there's been the single highest wealth accumulation in the history of planet Earth, mostly. That's a whole other conversation. So yes, congratulations.
Yeah, I think
keep collecting, guys.
I'd
Keep
rather
collecting.
you invest in Lego than stamps. So there's some good things there. But I will say, the company Lego, they are genius marketers. And here's how they did this, John. They use limited production runs.
Mm-hmm.
They use collector special editions.
Huge.
And scarcity on the secondhand market. That is what has kept these prices up. It's simply supply and demand. And they are so good at creating the scarcity, the urgency. You'll never get this collector set again. Everything's a collector set now.
It's like blood Legos, right?
That's how it goes.
It's unbelievable.
So, great lesson in marketing. Terrible investment. I'd rather you be investing in your retirement. And if you want to just enjoy Legos and it's a collector thing for you,
Get
that
a
you do on
billion
the
of them.
side
Get a
because
bunch of them.
You've already maxed out retirement. You don't have any debt. You're using your fund money. That's great. We are happy for you. We're not mad at those kidults out there. But please do not delay your retirement because you're like, oh, but honey, if I get this Lego set, it's going to be worth way more than my retirement account.
Or here's like here's me being like just honest. Man, if you buy Legos and collect Legos and they go up in value and you're buying, great. And I can't argue with the data. The last decade, man, these things have done great. Awesome. They're going up in value. So you're an adult, you're a collector, you're going to buy some expensive Lego sets that are rare. Awesome. What I don't like about these kind of studies that get dropped out with headlines like this is that people who watch too much YouTube then go, I'm missing the boat here. And they
FOMO.
start buying Lego sets with credit cards. They start buying quote unquote great deals with fill in the blank ways of borrowing money, with the idea that this is going to return me 11%. I can sell this for $400. I only bought it for $50, and I bought it on a credit card. And that's the folks who get in trouble. If you buy these things with cash and you end up with a huge pile of Legos and the apocalypse hits, no harm, no foul. It's fine, right? But, dude, if you have a pile of debt buying these things with the hope they're going to pay off, you're just going to get in the long line of crypto folks and the long line of Beanie Baby folks and the long line of tulip folks and on and on and on, right?
Yeah, we don't know the future of Lego. I mean, one thing they could have a tweet that takes them down and the stock
No,
tanks.
I'll keep rocking with Legos, dude. I'm all about it, but
it's very, very risky, and we see this across all other industries. John, there's a lot of sneakerheads out there, and they're buying the collector shoe, and there's a lot of urgency and scarcity. And so whenever there's a lot of urgency and scarcity, I like to just pause and go, why do I have this FOMO?
Yeah.
And I go, oh, it's marketing. Got it. Okay.
Ta-da.
I don't actually need it. It's not actually a great investment. I actually don't know anything about it. And so unless you're a super Lego fan who just knows the ins and outs and knows exactly what set is what value on eBay, don't get involved in this stuff for the investment. Do it for the love of Lego.
Yeah, because you want it. For the love of Lego.
For the love of Lego.
You have a T-shirt that says that, man. That's
100%.
actually pretty cool.
Christine is with us in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hi, Christine. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Thank you so much for taking my call. So my husband and I are new listeners of yours, and we're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We have no debt except for our mortgage.
Good.
But we're concerned that our mortgage is a bit high. It doesn't quite follow your ratios, so I just wanted to talk that through with you and see if we should just keep going on or make a change.
Okay. In this case, our ratios don't matter as much in the case of a mortgage payment as a percentage of your income as why we have the ratios. Now, that matters a lot. Okay. The why is simply if you use up all your money on your house payment, you don't have any money. It's called house poor. Right? And that will cause you, if you're living with a super high house payment, even though you're already out of debt and you're baby step 4, 5, and 6, it'll keep you from investing long term, keep you from your generosity goals. And it, in some cases, if it's super high, people feel forced to take a car payment because they don't save up for a car because they don't have any room to save up for a car or something like that. So that's the reason we tell people to not get a super high house payment like most of the culture tells you to do. Once you kind of understand that, then you can kind of back into your particulars and say, okay, what are we violating on the 25% of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed, and how is that going to be okay, given that we don't want to be house poor? So, how much is your house payment?
$3,900.
Say again.
$3,900.
And your monthly take-home pay is?
$11,000.
Okay, so you're about 34%.
Right.
Okay. And what do you guys do for a living?
My husband is in supply chain.
Is what?
And he's in supply chain, and I stay home with our kids.
Supply chain.
Oh, God, I can't hear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Supply chain. All right. And he's killing it. So how many raises is he? No, because the last 2 years don't count. What do you guys feel like the trajectory of his income is? Is it going to go up substantially in the next 3 years?
I think so.
Which makes this conversation not needed, moot, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, if it goes from 33% to 28% to 25% with 3 raises because your house payment stays the same and your income goes up, then we're not worried about you being house poor long term, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's one fix for this.
But if he had 2 wild years based on supply chain backup and he crushed it and he's going to settle back into $9,000 a month, now you got a problem.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you looking at on his income, do you think?
I think it'll go up. I don't think it'll go down.
If it goes down, you need to reevaluate this house.
Okay.
If it goes, as long as it has an upward trajectory in the next 36 to 48 months, you're not going to be stuck there with all your money going to a house payment and not being able to fund your kid's college fund.
Or having an air conditioner break and you got to go to a credit union to be able to pay for it, right?
Right.
Well,
although we do have an emergency fund.
That's right. That's right.
Good.
Yeah. So just don't get yourself to where you're there. That's the whole point of the thing, you see. Yeah. So you don't need Ramsey to tell you how to manage your life. But a good rule, period, whether Ramsey's in your discussion or not, is don't be house poor. Don't have a house payment that takes up all your money. Right. Makes you broke. And so, but I think you sound like you're okay. It's not ideal. If you were getting ready to buy a home, I would tell you to back off. Don't be so house, but you're there. I wouldn't tell you to move over this. You're not trapped and hopelessly mathematically disabled, So I wouldn't tell you to do that. But you don't have any room. It's got to go up. It can't go back. And you don't have any wiggle room, because if it goes down much and stays down very long, you're going to be forced into a different property. But right now, I think you got a lot of house. And in Cheyenne, Wyoming, that's a big freaking house. That's a big dog right there. Well done. Good for you. I bet it's fun. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
All right, here's the question from Nathan. What is your opinion on the recent changes allowing college athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness? For sports fans, you know this as NIL. For non-sports fans, when you hear that, we'll explain that in a second. Do you believe this is a positive development for college athletics, providing athletes with more opportunities, or do you have concerns about potential implications for the integrity of collegiate sports? Well, let me address that first. The irony is that NIL has actually probably brought more integrity to collegiate sports, because now it's removed all of the edges and all the cheating that's involved with recruiting, which would have been always cash to families or cash to athletes. And since the adoption of NIL, where college athletes can be paid for their name, their image, and likeness.
It wasn't adoption. It was a court mandated.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Supreme Court said they had to.
That's right. And so now that is the law of the land. So what that has done is really removed a lot of the cheating and the backroom deals where you saw boosters causing a lot of problems. On the other issue, what is my opinion of it? I'm not a fan of it. I certainly understood that there was a case to be made that colleges and their athletic departments were profiting mightily from these athletes, but what has happened is I think it's swung too far the other way, and that with the transfer rules has now made it free agency. And so college sports mirrors professional sports, but in fact it's even crazier. It's the wild, wild west. There are no contracts. An NBA or an NFL free agent is under contract for X amount of time. The team and the athlete and the agent all know that the contract is coming up. In college sports now, kids can just simply declare via the transfer portal.
My coach hurt my feelings.
That's right. And then they leave. So I think we're in the wild, wild west of the early days. I think this will continue to morph. But to answer the question, I'm not a fan of NIL. I think it has it's just made the sport a little bit wackier, and I think it's made prima donnas out of high school kids who, by the way, are showing up at signings for their college in Lamborghinis. University of Alabama. That happened this year. Kid showed up at his high school, Dave, to declare he was going to Alabama, and he was driving a brand new Lamborghini. So that can't be good.
There is something wrong with this picture, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
I knew that would load you up.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of me putting a golf ball on a large brush tee so that you can hit it right down the middle, Dave.
Thank you for that.
What say you, sir?
Yeah. Well, I agree with you that the kids, they were due something, but the court ruling completely took it out of the hands of the colleges to develop something, because the colleges screwed up. I mean, if they had come forward, if the NCAA had come forward and put together a plan where the kids could make some money and managed it and adopted that, then it never would have gone to the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court just kicked the door completely open. There's absolutely no rules. Like you said, Wild Wild West. It's chaos. And the problem is several-fold then. We've got I don't mind anybody profiting off of their efforts, okay, regardless. I think that's called a meritocracy, and I'm a big fan of meritocracies. I believe if you work hard, you should get something for that, and if you have talent, you should get something for that. I'm fine with all of that. The problem is with it being completely out of control. Like, I've had athletic departments call me and say, hey, would you come speak to the team? And I'm like, sure. What about? Well, we've got a quarterback that makes $2 million a year, and the guy blocking for him makes nothing. How do we build teamwork in that? And I'm like, I can't help you with that one.
Yeah, good luck.
That's like known as can't be done. And so, you need to restructure the whole thing, but they don't have that option because the court took it away from them. You can't structure it. You'd have to, you'd get sued again. if you said, okay, we've got to put some of this money in a pool and the whole team benefit so we can build a team character, and then you add to it the portal, which every time you piss somebody off, they just hit the road. And if you want to piss somebody off, piss off a highly aggressive 18-year-old who you are training to run over other people, and then piss them off.
Yeah.
And be surprised that they're pissed off, because what you do all day long is teach them how to run over other people. And then guess what? As soon as you hurt their little feelings, they're gone. And so it's very difficult to build a college team now in this environment. It's very difficult because the kids, there's this disparity of income. And then the last problem is the same problem we've been facing when you and I have been working with the NFL, and our team's been working with the NFL for years. Going to these rookie camps, and we tell these young guys, you just got a $10 million signing bonus, and I understand, but $10 million is not enough to buy everyone in your entire family a $2 million house. That's not $10 million. Okay, that's $100 million, and you did not get $100 million. Besides that, you're in the NFL, which stands for not for long. 3.2 years is the average career. 88% leave the league permanently physically disabled in some manner. The divorce rate, 10x the public. Okay, this does not spell out well for wealth building. Okay, it doesn't. So let me tell you what happens to your $10 million. It's gone. In that situation, that's what happens to it. It's gone. You don't have it. And so, but you got bling, and you got a lot of friends right now that aren't really friends, and you're taking them to the Bahamas and go swimming. Well, good for you. That's dumber than crap. And and so this is me talking to NFL people, and guess what? Guess how far popular that is? It's not popular. So, but and now it's worse because now you're dealing with a 16-year-old. Because the NIL's dropped down into high school now.
100%. There are actually no limits now.
We're seeing it show up in high schools, and we're going to see it in junior highs. We're going to see 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds start to get payment to lead them through, because we worship these sports figures, and it's just, guys, it's not good for the people. That kid that gets $10 million and doesn't manage it well, and it leads to horrible things in his life. It's not good for him.
Well.
So
you know what it's done? It's really killed amateur athletics, because the very word amateur is now completely defunct.
It's not.
I mean, once you collect a check for doing something, you are by default a professional.
But it is pretty cool if you can show up for signing day in a Lamborghini.
I don't judge the kid, but my goodness.
Hey, there's a defensive Alabama in here who said it was Ole Miss, not Alabama.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true.
We've got it pulled up.
It was an Ole Miss player? All right, I have no problem being wrong, because I was still using a great example. So I apologize to all you Roll Tide
people.
You got to be careful.
You big blue people.
We beat you in the Rose Bowl.
There's that, yeah.
Oh, it feels good to say. But anyway, the point is, you got an Ole Miss kid, all right, showing up.
Oh, that's a Kiffin kid. Oh, that does make sense.
Careful, Dave.
That makes total sense now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a little close to home. Lane Kiffin left the balls at the altar, folks, and so Dave's not over that yet.
No, I'm definitely over it.
Yeah, you got a good coach.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. This has absolutely changed college athletics forever. And here's the other thing. You're going to see this begin to affect the non-revenue generating sports. If you like college,
here's the thing. When I was dealing with college coaches, and we're sitting down talking to college football coaches, and they say, hey, it's not unusual at all for some of the young men on my team for me to be the first male figure in their life to lead them well and to love them well.
Yep.
And regardless of race.
Yep.
And he goes, it's not unusual at all for me to be that guy. And guess what? He's not anymore. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that capability to love those kids well, because they make more than he makes.
Yeah.
And they will leave as soon as he challenges some of their mythology that they're living their life based on, and or their behaviors or whatever. Tries to make them sit on the bench.
Yeah. And
I have to sit on the bench.
Here's one other unintended consequence. It's driving some of the great legendary leaders out of the game. The last 2 years, Entree Leadership Summit, I think it's the best leadership event in the world. It's our signature event here at Ramsey Solutions, part of Entree Leadership. We've had on the stage, arguably, 2 of the top 5 coaches of all time, any sport, Nick Saban in football and Coach K just this last couple weeks, and both of them left, and they've told Dave and I, we were both around them, NIL was one of the reasons that drove them out of it. It's just changed the landscape.
The NIL and portal together is just
both of them. Yeah.
Just real. So it's not good. It's not good for the kids. It's not good for the sports. That's the summation of it. And yet, I would never deny someone the right to earn money. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So you just got to figure out some way that it's done in a wise way that's a blessing to everybody involved. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Cody is with us in Indiana. Hi, Cody. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Kind of nervous, not gonna lie.
No trouble. We've never lost a patient. You're going to make it.
So I'm a general contractor, debt-free. Me and my wife got about $104,000 of capital, and I hate people. So I really want to work for myself rather than a client. And so my long-term goal has been wanting to get into flipping houses. That way I can just flip them, sell them, be done. I ain't got to mess with anybody. But I've not gotten into it yet, and with everything going on the way it is, I'm kind of worried about starting at the moment.
Okay.
I got to ask, Dave, how are you going to be a general contractor? My father-in-law is very successful at it and not deal with some people. I get your general idea.
You mean you don't
here.
want to deal with clients nitpicking your work?
No, well, that always happens, regardless.
Yeah.
You can work for 100 different people, 90 of them is great, 10 of them are not so great.
Right, that's about average.
Yeah, it's just being the owner, I'm constantly running to the stores all the time, and I just want to be able to work myself.
You're going to do all the work yourself, or are you going to sub it out?
I'd sub out what I could. I mean, I don't want to cut in my costs, of course, but I don't do everything. I don't do HVAC. I'm not licensed for that, of course.
Okay. So what about? I'm with Ken. I don't mind answering your question, but I'm just curious because there's times I agree with you. I love people, but they also about 2% of them should be institutionalized. So, you know, they're nutty and they're on Twitter. And so, what is it? What people are you cutting out by doing this process?
Well, client. I don't have to go do bids for people and then do their work. I can just 100% work for myself.
Okay.
I
and until you sell the house, and they're of course going to want you to do to finish up or to fix whatever is broken after they move in, right? You know that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
that's going to go. So you're not cutting them out completely, but you're getting rid of a lot of the back and forth while you're doing the job. That's what you're after.
Yes,
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's go back to your question. Flipping houses. Well, we're in a white-hot real estate market. Everybody knows that, right? So very tough to buy deals, and part of flipping a house or making money is you have to buy it at a deal. Agreed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so what you've got to be very, very careful of is, A, no debt, B, be so patient that you pass on 50 deals to get one that works. Okay? I used to buy, before I went broke, I made a really good living and buying and selling foreclosures. I was doing flips before Chip and Joanna were born, okay? And so, but I looked at, in those days, I looked at 200 deals to buy one. That was my average. Because because all the money in real estate on flips is made at the buy. If you buy a property and the weird, crazy, white-hot market where people are paying too much is the only way you get out of it and make money, you didn't buy the property right.
Yes.
You need to buy it at 70, 72, 73% of appraisal today, minus repairs.
Yes.
And then you can actually make a profit because you're going to lose 12% on the resale in commissions, closing costs, and negotiation off of appraisal. Unless you catch the edge of a white-hot market, which we're in right now, okay? But if you depend on a white-hot market to bail out your bad deal, you're going to get your butt burned.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to happen.
Yeah, so buy cheap or don't buy, and buy with debt and have a formula minus repairs. So, you know, you got let's use a round number. You had a $100,000 house. You're going to buy it for $72,000, $73,000. It makes $10,000 worth of repairs. Means you're going to buy it for $62,000. How are you going to find that in this world today? You might find it because it might be so messed up nobody else wants it because it's so freaking ugly that even a white-hot market won't sell this white elephant, okay? But they're very hard. Deals are hard to find right now. And foreclosures are not happening at the level that they were happening because there's been a whole bunch of people still sitting on the foreclosures due to the moratoriums. They're just starting to re-enter the market. So a little harder to find the foreclosure deals, too, right now. Okay. Maybe by the end of summer, they will have opened back up. So if you're patient and you just say, don't get all hot and bothered about buying something, and you buy it at a deal minus repairs, and you get paid to do the repairs, and then you get paid on the transaction as a profit, both things, then, and you do it with no debt, then you're going to be okay. So, but that's going to involve a lot of work of finding a deal, and it's very difficult to do right now. And there's people out there flipping houses right now, and they're depending on white-hot market to bail them out, and that market's going to turn off on them, and they're going to get caught holding that.
So, Cody, Dave just gave you the formula, so now you have to ask the question, how much money must I have? So what needs to be true? Do I need $200,000 in cash, $250,000 to be able to get that kind of a deal with that ratio and then make money on it? Because remember, you're making really good money in your business right now, I suspect.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to switch over to full-time flipper, then you got to play that equation out. How many houses would I have to flip to pay myself what I make? You've given him a wonderful formula. Now he's going to have to be patient. That's what's going to be hard.
He's got $104,000 to invest in flipping that 3 times a year maybe. You're probably building some houses still.
Yeah. That's
while
right.
you're
it's
running
going to take
flips.
some time.
While you're running these flips. You could run both at the same time. But until you build your capital up and you could get 2 or 3 flips going at a time.
That's correct.
With actual dollars, then when you get there, you could probably step aside from doing the contracting. But you're probably still going to do a little contracting. And that'll also calm you down and you don't get desperate. I got to get a house because I got to get income. And then that's going to cause you to pay too much. The name of the game in this is patience.
Yes.
I had a guy at a mortgage company I used to buy a property from after they took it back, one of these little finance companies. And he goes, Ramsey, you're a vulture. You're the nicest vulture I know, but you're a vulture. And I said, well, you're right. I'm kind of circling, waiting on something to die. That's what I'm doing, because I'm looking for a deal. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not causing anybody any harm. I'm just going to help out when they're there, and I write a check and buy the property. But that was a long time ago. It's kind of a nice compliment in a way.
It was in there.
It's in there somewhere.
Dave Ramsey looking for that real estate roadkill.
That's the name of the new book.
Real Estate
Roadkill.
There it is,
Who
folks.
knew? I was looking for a title, Ken.
Dave,
now I got to write a book.
This is what I do. But it's funny. You gave Cody some great advice. I love that formula. And then you said it's all about patience. In Cody's world, he needs some patience with all those people he hates. Just for a 3 to 5 year I get what he's saying though. He's working with clients that are just nitpicking and driving him bananas.
I was in the custom home building business as a sales guy for a while, and he's right. About 9 out of 10 of them are just the greatest people in the world. But let me tell you who drives you absolutely nuts. The ones that are too broke to buy it.
Ah, right. So now they're trying
and so they're trying to flex up. And they go through the house and they nitpick stuff that doesn't even
like
exist.
Scrimpin's going to fix their problem.
You're still going to be broke after you flex over this piece of drywall right here.
That's classic.
Yeah, one guy went through with a magic marker, and he had the plan wrong in his hand. He had it backward, and he drew on the wall where the plugs were supposed to be instead of where they were.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we charged him like $10,000 to go through. We had to sand and seal and then repaint every one of those walls and cover that stupid magic marker that this person. So I get it. I understand. I mean, that guy, the magic marker guy, that'll drive you out of the business right there.
Yeah, it would.
And so, you've got to manage those people and manage their expectations in the process. And it's a challenge in that world. It really is.
Hey, Dave, help me with this real quick. We don't have very much time. In a minute, help me understand what is happening with the economy, because it feels like people are still hiring, businesses are still making money, and that I don't fully understand it, but the Fed's trying to crash it.
Yeah.
They're trying to run it up against the wall, and I don't understand that.
Well, because you're a logical human.
No one's ever said that before.
Yeah. No,
like if it feels like they're trying to run it into a bridge,
and said out loud they want to cause unemployment.
Help me understand even the rational
concept.
line.
The concept is if we slow the economy down because of unemployment, then the prices will stop going up. It's in an effort to squash inflation. The problem is that's not what caused inflation.
Right.
A speedy economy isn't what caused inflation. It was horrible domestic policy on oil.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the spigot off, the prices go up. No kidding. Okay, so Biden sticker, I did that for sure.
Yeah.
The other parts of inflation were COVID-related, not COVID-related. They're quarantine.
Just the lag.
They're quarantine-related. Right. You shut down the factories on cars. There's no cars, so the price of cars goes way up.
Mm-hmm.
You shut down the factory on producing lumber. There's no lumber, so the price of lumber goes up. Oh, wait, now we started the factories back. So now there's cars again, now there's lumber again. It's starting to smooth out. Lumber's back down.
That's what I mean. So if you wait a hot minute.
If you wait a hot minute and quit screwing around with it, trying to fix it with the wrong tool, quit using a hammer on a Phillips screw. I mean, really. And that's the problem, and that's why everybody's so pissed off. Even Bernie Sanders came out and said this is the wrong thing. Me and Bernie Sanders agreed on something.
Yeah, no, I felt my feet getting cold, and I was like, hell's freezing over.
This just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Dave and Bernie agree about something.
Well,
that's twice in 6 months we agreed about something.
I'm not near as smart economically, but I remember at the start of deer season last year, the shelves in the ammo department and at Academy was wiped out.
Yep.
And then I went there the other day, and they are full top to bottom. And my first thought was, the factories must be catching up. Yep. And then I thought, well, what? Maybe I'm missing something, but why are they trying to drive this thing in the ditch?
There's two things that cause prices to go through the roof. Okay, two potential things that we're discussing here anyway. One type of inflation is what we had in the 70s, and it was just a white-hot economy. Mm-hmm. Everything kept going up, and everybody got away with it, and so it went up again, then it went up again, then it went up again, and it was just prosperity heaped on top of prosperity, mix in a little greed, and boom. Okay, and there was a monetary policy in those days, in the late 70s, early 80s, very similar to this. George Volcker had the Fed back then. And I was actually an adult and remember this. But, and so they did the same thing. They just jacked rates up to slow down the economy. But that inflation in the 70s was a different kind of inflation.
Gotcha.
This inflation was domestic oil production related and quarantine supply-demand curve related.
Gotcha.
And if they'd leave it alone, they're going to mess it up further.
That's what it feels like when I keep opening the grill to see if my brisket's. Yeah. The more I open the grill, the more I screw it up.
Exactly.
If I just leave it alone.
Exactly. If you just let it cook, it'll turn out. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
So I'm wanting to know how I can help my 71-year-old mother who has no retirement. She has a home, and she's considering selling the home in order to be able to make it about 50 more years, but she's kind of in a rock and a hard place, and I didn't know if there's a way she can invest a little or find a way to maybe get a little extra money.
So she has no money?
None at all.
And what's the house worth?
It's probably about $175,000. But then she has to decide whether to rent or to go purchase another smaller home.
Mm-hmm. Where does she live?
She's in Evansville, and so she's
Evansville,
in
Kentucky.
Indiana.
I'm sorry, Evansville, Indiana, on the border of Kentucky. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good news is it's not very expensive to live there. You're calling me from Newark or from Indianapolis, and that's a little more.
Mm-hmm.
She has no income at all.
Well, she has Social Security.
Well, she has Social Security, but she's afraid to get a job because then she'll lose her insurance, her Medicare.
Well, what is her Social Security? What's her income on
she's
that?
only getting $900 a month, about right now.
Is she able to work?
She is. She's pretty stubborn. I love her to death, but she's very independent and and a bit stubborn, but I love her. And I keep saying, well, maybe if you could do this or that. She's kind of very adamant about not being in a community or being somewhere because she's 71 in April, but she thinks she's 50.
Yeah, I know that. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
Well, what would you if you could just snap your fingers and give her a job today, 40 hours a week, and everything was just hunky dory? What would she do? What would you recommend that she would do just to bring in steady income?
She's been a caregiver her whole life, a CNA or an at-home caregiver. She actually left being a CNA to go take care of her mother at the last 5 years of her life, and that's kind of why she's in this position. Because
where's your dad?
Her dad?
Your dad.
Oh, my dad. Unfortunately, my dad is not in the picture. He's off doing his own thing somewhere.
Divorced a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
divorced a long time ago.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, so we've the math will break your stubborn streak.
I know, right?
$900 doesn't pay for property taxes, insurance on a $175,000 house, and food and lights and water.
Correct.
Period.
Yep.
Period. It doesn't do it. Not even in Evansville, Indiana, which is a wonderful community to live in and very inexpensive to live in compared to most places, especially metro areas. So, yeah, she could sell her house and buy a $75,000 one-bedroom condo there. Probably. That's probably real. And it would probably wouldn't be in the ghetto, right? Probably wouldn't be in the slums.
No.
And so it's not going to be great, but it'll be, at least a place to live. And renting is not an option because rent goes up every year and she'll run through her money. It's not going to go up as fast as Social Security. So she's working. That's her only choice. It's her only choice.
Yeah. Well, then how do you navigate the not having insurance then?
You're going to have to work on talking to finding out what Medicare does do in those situations and finding out exactly what the guidelines are. I don't know them off the top of my head. And start talking to insurance agents and finding ways to get care covered. But she's going to burn through the money from the house because you can't live on $900.
Right. Well, she was living off the inheritance or the money that was left to her from her brother when he passed.
But it's going to be gone.
Oh, it's almost already gone. That's why she's kind of in this position now.
And then the money from the house will be the next thing that's gone. And then we're going to be back in this position because we don't want to admit that $900 won't work it.
Right.
And so you don't have a choice. One of you, somewhere there's going to be some money into this picture. Now, maybe you start giving her money. I don't know. Or your brother who's a dentist. I don't know. I made that up. But I don't know. I don't know who's giving her money, but somebody's giving her money. So they're going to give her money to work or her kids are going to support her because she can't make it on that.
Right.
I just did a quick search while you guys were talking. There are 5 big box stores in Evansville, Indiana. You know them. I don't need to say them. Then I searched one of the biggest ones, and they have 100-plus jobs right now available. And a 71-year-old lady who's healthy, who's mature,
What do they
and
pay
she
you, do
is.
they say?
I don't know that because I didn't click on it.
Probably $20-25.
And that's what the math has got to be. So I did that search because while Dave was talking, if this were my mom, and that's what you called and asked us, then I would be going, Mom, let's run the numbers. And you get into one of those stores, you're probably going to get some healthcare options. If not, it's still a math game and more money coming in. But she needs income. And I think a healthy 71 with a smile and great work ethic, I think there'd be plenty of big box stores that would love to take care of her.
And a caregiver probably can make more than she'd make there.
I agree.
And probably with the right care organization.
Yeah, that was just a quick search.
Hospital or whatever, you could get some health care.
Great point on any healthcare facilities in the area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's check on that.
Okay.
But I think Mom, she's, I don't know how you help her grasp this, but the math is going to be forced upon her.
Yeah.
And she's going to have to create some income. And the more income she creates, the sooner, the bigger chance we can build to build a little bit of a nest egg to make it all the way through this. And not have to work until you're 92, Wow. This is why you invest $100 a month from age 25 to age 65 in a decent mutual fund is $1,176,000, and you don't have that trouble. If you're 25 and you're listening to me, listen to her story. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.
Rachel joins us in Knoxville, Tennessee. Rachel, how can we help?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear. What's up?
All right. So me and my husband were just talking about possibly living in a different state. And the one that we both kind of were interested in living in was Alaska. And where we live in Tennessee, that's a huge move.
Yeah.
So we were just wondering if that sounds crazy? Is there any financial guidelines that you have for that? Anything against it for it? Any unbiased advice you could give us?
Well, George, I want to jump in before we even get to the money recommendations on moving, because I'm sure we both get some opinions on that. Done that a lot. Why do you think it's crazy? Or are you wondering if anyone else thinks it's crazy? That was really the first question.
Absolutely. Both of our families would think it was crazy.
All right. So they think it's crazy. But you and your husband don't think it's crazy. In fact, you probably have a different adjective. I want you to pick the adjective just for fun. You're not locked into this. What's the adjective that you would use for moving to Alaska? If it's not crazy, it is
fun, exciting.
Yes.
Potential.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that's fantastic. So the reason your family doesn't like it is because they're sad, because they're scared. Maybe they're confused. Because you pursuing this fun, exciting journey is filtered to them as you're leaving us. You are abandoning us. You are robbing us of time to see you and the kids and everybody else. Do you see how it's completely different translation for them when they hear this?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, but here's the deal. Would you rather disappoint them by moving to Alaska and having this awesome, fun journey that you and your husband feel that you guys are meant to do? Or would you rather resent them by not leaving and always wondering what could have been? What would you rather choose?
When you put it like that, that's eye-opening. Yeah, that changes the narrative completely.
There we go. I'm glad our opinions won't sway you then. You want to do this. I think people who run marathons are crazy. They love it and they enjoy it. And so it's a great analogy of what's right for you may not be right for someone else. So I'm all for this move. You asked about the financial details. There are a few steps you can take to step into this without a bunch of fear, but instead excitement. You've done the homework. So are you guys debt-free?
We are debt-free, yes. And
Nice.
we have, we do have about $10,000 just in investments, $14,000 in emergency fund, $4,000 in the bank for just a sinking fund. So yeah.
That gives me great peace about this move. Now, there are going to be moving expenses, so make sure that's set aside. That's not an emergency, so let's set that aside as well and begin researching. You know, what's the quality of life going to be like? What do we need to know about the weather, commutes, schools, areas of crime? What's the cost of living going to be? Have you looked into all that?
No, that is exactly why I called you. We didn't consider that at all, other than just where do we want to live and where can we find a job.
Great. And another resource for that, of course, is people who actually have lived in Alaska or currently live in Alaska. So that would also be something I can talk with someone face-to-face versus just reading a blog about Alaska is going to be more helpful, especially in the city that you plan on moving to. Yeah. So do you have jobs lined up there, or are you working remote?
That's what we were looking into is where we could find a job. So that would be the first step.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's start there. Let's start with what we currently have skill and experience in, right? So we're going to start the search there. This is what we are doing. This is what we can do. And we begin to look and see, because I've been to Alaska. I spent 6 months there one time working on a campaign, and it's a very spread out, remote. So things are very concentrated. If you're in the Anchorage area, you're going to have a pretty good representation of just most mid-sized cities. That's what that job economy looks like in Anchorage. It is very, very different in the outskirts of Alaska. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you guys thinking Anchorage, suburbia of Anchorage, or are you thinking like outskirts, these smaller towns where we're flying a plane just to get anywhere?
Where we don't know the area at all, we were thinking Anchorage and then figuring out once we got there.
All right. This is not related to job, but this is related to this whole decision. You guys need to probably go spend more time there just on vacation, like scouting trips, before we make this move. I love that you're thinking about this adventure and you're taking this season of life. You're debt free, so you can do it. But I got to tell you something. This needs to be. Let's go spend a week there. Let's go see 3 cities. Let's look at the list that I just told you to create and let's dive deep and begin to maybe apply and just go through some interviews just to see. We've got to get our feet wet on this deal. This is not a jump in all the way. I don't like that at all, because this dream could become a nightmare pretty quickly. So we're looking at what is it really like there, and what is the job opportunity so we're sustaining ourselves and able to fund our adventure. That's first and foremost. And then we begin to put the plan together, George. Boy, I don't like just going, wee.
It feels like...
No. We wouldn't do that. That's why we called to ask what are the guidelines. What should we be looking for?
I know, but I want to challenge you on that. Let's get ourselves, very informed.
This is the stage that we call uninformed optimism. Like when you start something new, you're just so excited about it and you don't have enough research to even be pessimistic about it. And the next stage is informed pessimism, where you start to feel a little overwhelmed because you started doing the research. You're like, oh, this is a lot. And so there's going to be a journey of ups and downs and a lot of emotion around this. And you may end up not moving. You may go visit and say, it's a fun place. We love to visit there once or twice a year. We're going to stay planted in Knoxville for now. That might happen. Are you guys homeowners right now?
No, we're not.
Okay, you're renting. So consider, do we have to break a lease? Is there a fee involved with that? Should we wait until the lease is up? So there's some logistical pieces when it comes to housing you want to think about here too.
What do you guys do for a living?
Electrician and dietitian.
Okay. Well, I like the electrician play. I think that's going to probably be very much, there'll be a lot of opportunity there. But you got some work to do on dietitian and what that may or may not look like there. But an electrician in the trades in Alaska, I like this. I like this a lot.
That's what I told my husband. I was like, you probably would be able to find a job before me.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we've got a great resource for you at RamseySolutions.com, how to move to another state. It's got all the stuff I've been mentioning. I'll make sure Austin gets you a link to that. You can also just search for that on your favorite search engine. But that will start to give you a checklist of the things you need to do, the homework ahead of you in research, and make sure you've got a job lined up before you make this move. The last thing you want is for this to turn into a real stressful situation.
George, I want to get them off to a head start. Let's check one thing off the list. I got to talk to our friends at Pods Moving and Storage.
Yes.
How do you even think about going from Knoxville, Tennessee to Alaska without calling my
One
friends
less thing
at
to worry
Pods?
about.
Huh?
One less thing to worry about.
They got the storage, they got the moving. In other words, they take care of your headache.
That was good, Ken.
Huh?
Nice. So smooth. Well, I'm excited about this Alaskan adventure. Hope it works out, Rachel.
Yeah, send us some salmon.
Can you do that?
I don't think
Just
so.
on ice.
Maybe on ice. I don't know how long it keeps.
Mary is with us in Toronto, Canada. Hi, Mary. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks very much, Dave. Thanks. Hi, Rachel.
Hello, Mary.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
I'm curious if you could just want to get some advice or your advice on some advice that we had received about a mortgage. And we have a mortgage in first place on our home, and then a line of credit that we haven't taken any money out, but that is in second place as a mortgage. And we're in a position where we can pay off that mortgage coming up soon. But the advice we were given was that we should keep that. So we have a mortgage in first place, line of credit second place, and that would prevent anyone from fraudulently putting another mortgage on our home by keeping that those two first and second place mortgages on there.
Where did this advice come from? A banker?
The bank.
A banker told you should stay in debt.
What? Mary.
And here's what's sad. This is a particularly ignorant banker. Not only because the advice is ludicrous, but it's asinine. Let me walk you through it, okay? Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's say you pay off your house.
Is it different in Canada? Let me say this. Is there any difference? Because she is in Canada, so I just want to throw that out there.
I cannot imagine that Canadian law allows fraud. Okay?
It's not that it's allowed.
No. I'm answering Rachel's question. I'm answering Rachel's question.
I jumped in, Mary.
Okay,
sorry.
so if someone fraudulently puts debt in your name of any kind, including on your house, it does not stand. It gets removed, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You just have to go to the trouble of removing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, And having a mortgage on your house does not protect you from that. They could still put.
Attractive was his point.
Do what?
It makes it less attractive for somebody to pick us as a victim.
Well, guess what? Mortgage fraud is not rampant in the U.S. or in Canada. It is the most difficult kind of fraud to actually accomplish for a crook. It's a lot easier to steal someone's identity and open up a credit card, like light years easier to open up a credit card in your name than to do this. And so here's what you ought to do on the basis of this moron's logic. You should go deeply in debt and stay deeply in debt all through your life, because then you're less attractive to identity thieves. That's how ridiculous this is, you know? So no, absolutely not. And by the way, don't ask the fox about the hen house. I'm going to ask a banker if I should stay in debt. That's like asking a dog if it's hungry. Oh, my God. 100% of the time you should stay in debt. It's what I live for, is to put people in debt and keep them in debt. That's what Mr. Banker says. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no, darling, no.
It's amazing how they just play on the fear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's the interesting part.
But, I mean, that's the best you got? That's the best? I mean, it would have been the argument that you keep your money and put it in an investment that makes more than
money.
Your mortgage interest rate
yeah.
is at least logical in the argument's sake.
Yes.
This one is not even, this one's like fantasy screwed up stuff. I mean, no. The number of paid for homes that get a mortgage placed on them fraudulently is approaching zero. It is a very, very, very small thing. And if you're concerned about that type of thing, you should have identity theft protection anyway. All of you have. In the States, we would send you to Xander Insurance. I'm not sure they issue it in Canada, but I can't keep up with what Canada does and doesn't do. It's more.
But the only reason I didn't know if
You're
we were
right.
going to get into like mortgage law or like
No,
very
it's not.
specifics,
It's
that are different.
Fraud is fraud.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
right.
if folks, if someone signs your name without a power of attorney to anything, and they put your name in debt, you are not liable for that. There's 0 times that you're liable for that debt.
Yeah. So how would that happen? Can we just like go down that rabbit hole for a quick second? To have
It's a very complicated thing. I mean, you have to sign as if you're her, and then you have to record it at the courthouse on her house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a complicated fraud.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to pull off because there's about 3 layers of stuff you've got to do very clearly.
To your point, it's not just like a credit card.
No, it's very easy to do a credit card fraud.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, people do credit card fraud all the time, but the mortgage.
Oh, look, 0.83% of all mortgage applicants are fraud. Less than 1%.
Yeah.
So there you go, Mary.
Oh, that's the applications. And that's not even.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's
okay.
not even it was not even issued then.
Yeah. So Mary, it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
So no,
it's going to be like 0.0008 that it actually occurs,
that's right? Yep.
And so it's a non-statistical thing. But if you're worried about fraud, and you should be, because there's crooks everywhere, you should get identity theft protection from Xander Insurance. Everybody ought to have that. We buy it for all of our employees here, all of our team, all the Ramsey team members. It's a benefit of working here. It's one of our HR benefits, and because we believe in it that strongly. Because there's just something all the time. If you haven't noticed, they're stinking call me all the time on my debit card and go, "Is somebody using your Is that you?
Which I so appreciate.
Is that you in Mexico?" Yeah, I'm down there again. But I mean, it's golly.
Because it sounds so sketchy.
But
Dave's
Cabo trips.
Hola, Dave.
Hola.
I do appreciate my bank though. They're very on top of it in that sense. Like I do get.
Well, because it costs them money.
Oh yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
That's why they're on top of it. It's
I appreciate it.
It's not. Yes, they're service oriented, and that's not. It's good that they have some service, but it's don't.
You complimented a bank.
Well,
How'd
but
that
it's
feel?
really not
How'd
that
feel?
altruistic. I mean, because it's their money that's going to be lost, not yours.
Yeah.
They're trying to protect themselves by giving you service. That's the thing, and you got to keep this in mind with banks. But Mary, that's a thing that comes up all the time, and
or doesn't come up all the time.
No, I mean the fear of this runs all over the internet.
Yeah.
I'm just really shocked that a banker actually came up with this as the reason to stay in debt, among all the other possible reasons that a banker could have given. This guy's really lame. So I mean, he's like bottom fishing here, serious. But that's the way it is. And
glad you called, Mary.
There's nothing. Rachel, I've been doing this for almost 31 years coming up on now here. And it turns out that 30 years from now, when I'm not here and you're still doing this, the questions will probably be the same. Zach is with us in Seattle to start off this hour. Hi, Zach. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thanks for having me. You guys are some of my heroes, and it's real cool to be on the show. I had a question for you guys. So I currently work at a tech company, and I'm looking to make a career change. The problem is I make really good money where I'm at right now, and what I'm wanting to go into is a significant pay cut. So I make about $110,000 per year right now, with potential to move up. I just started at the company, so there's a lot of growth there. But I'm not a fan of what I do. I took Ken Coleman's career assessment, gave me some great ideas, and what I'm wanting to go into is firefighting, which starting salary is about $30,000 less a year. And we're currently in baby step 2, and we've got with snowballing things, it'll probably take a year or less to get everything paid off. From kind of the snowball calculator we did on your guys' website. So my question is, should I wait to do any sort of career change until I've got baby step 2 taken care of, 3 to 6 months in a savings fund, and then a down payment for a house while I have the higher paying career? Or do I take the risk and go to a lower paying job and kind of take longer to get, our finances all set up and a down payment for a house? Because that's ultimately where we'd like to go. Does that make sense?
So you want to abandon a perfectly safe computer and run into burning houses?
Yeah, I want to do something that's meaningful. I work from home, and I'm just like poking my eyes out, and I'm like, I want to do something that's meaningful to me, and that sounds a heck of a lot more meaningful.
Have you gone on a ride along yet, or do you have buddies who are firefighters?
Yeah, so I got a buddy that's a firefighter. I've been doing a lot of research into the career itself, kind of what the day-to-day looks like, and all of it kind of fires me up. The people I've talked to have loved it. Everyone that's kind of in public service, I got an uncle that's a cop, and he's like, I wish I'd been a firefighter. So a lot of positive things about it from the kind of the research I've been doing so far.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I would do the ride-alongs too, by the way. But
yeah.
What does the on-ramp look like? How much training? How much downtime? You walk out of 110 and you walk into 80? Is that what we said, or 70? What was it?
Yeah, you walk into they have it all scaled out, so it's 82.
Okay, so you're going to walk out of 110, walk into 82 day one, or after training, or
day one? For my
so they're going to pay you that while they train you.
Yeah,
because you have to go to fire school. Is that what they call it?
Yeah. So it's about 16 weeks. It's from what I believe, it's 82. It might be a little less than that, but it's within that ballpark regardless. Where it's about a $30,000 pay cut.
Yeah. And are you married?
Yeah, married, 3 kids, all under the age of 4.
What does she make? She a stay-at-home mom?
She stay at home. Yeah, she stay at home.
Good.
The plan is to keep it that way. So.
Okay. Can you make your budget on that?
Yes, it'll just take longer to do the things we want.
Well, after 16 weeks, you have what firefighters call an extra job. Because you generally work 3 on, and you build decks or paint houses on the other 4.
Right.
Most firefighters I know make as much on their side gig as they do fighting fires because they got this wonderful schedule blocks set aside.
Yeah.
I know one guy made $100,000 building decks last year.
And I had a buddy who was got certified while he was in fire academy for
academy. That's it, not school.
Welding or some kind of engineer. I don't know. He got some kind of incredible certifications where he's making $1 jillion on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not going to work 3 beyond off 4. You're going to work 3 and you're going to work 4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the other.
So your income's not going down.
My own side hustle. Yeah, that's true.
So you need to also engineer your side hustle.
Yeah.
And it's it can be a great, it just needs to be a great self-employed opportunity because you can control the schedule and you can work around. And if you're going to paint houses, you just let them know I'm not going to be there those 3 days. That's my fire gig. And, again, I think you'll find around the firehouse, that's a pretty standard operation.
So let me throw this at you. I always want folks who have multiple kids like you do under the age of 3, 4, or 5 to exhale for a minute. Because everything in your life feels chaotic. You feel like you have no purpose because you're funding the lives of 3 kids who are too young to even recognize you exist, other than you make them get in the bath, and they don't want to do that, and change their underwear semi-regularly, and they don't want to do that either. And there's something about you start searching for a place where you can find meaning that's not at your home. And so Dave, I would tell you, if you were just my buddy and we were just hanging out, I would tell you, do a year sprint and get out of debt. At least take that brick out of your backpack. At least take that that anxiety producing thing in your life. Take it off the table. And in the meantime, do some ride-alongs. Get to reading about firefighting is one thing. Holding somebody in their front yard while their house burns down, or pulling somebody out of a building and trying to get them onto an EMS truck is a totally different thing. Some people are wired for that. Some people are not. And so you're in a unique position where you could experience that and not have to, before you've completely jumped off the dock. Yeah. But that'd be my recommendation to you.
Not a bad idea.
Go serve, man. I love that idea. We need more firefighters and police officers out there.
Yeah, thank you for your willingness.
Yeah,
I think your side gig might be your technology thing rather than building decks or painting houses. I might have been wrong on that first wave.
That could be incredible.
Yeah, because, apparently you can work from home and not work much.
See?
And get a job doing that and stuff. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Well, Jade, we both love food.
We do.
And we both talk about money. And so we thought, what if we did a fun little segment on this show called Tacky or Hacky?
Yes.
And this is where I throw out something that people do, maybe that we've done, and you got to give your take if it's tacky or if it's kind of a money hack.
I'm ready.
And so this is Restaurant Edition today.
Restaurant Edition.
You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
And you guys at home, if you're listening wherever and you're with someone or you want to talk to yourself, you let us know. Is this tacky or hacky? Taking extra stuff from restaurants for your house. Napkins, condiments, plastic utensils. What do you think?
I'm going to mostly go with tacky. I think there's a line here. All right.
Mine is, were they given to me?
Yes.
Or am I just grabbing a whole handful of condiments for the road?
Right. I was at Chipotle yesterday. I'm not taking... I only needed 1 fork. I'm not taking 5 because they have the nice plastic forks.
I will say Chipotle's utensil game on point.
It's sturdy, right? And I will say sometimes I take a few extra napkins for the car, not for my home.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to admit that that's tacky.
I don't like Chipotle's napkins, I'm going to be honest. Like the brown cardboardy napkins.
The brown is
we can do better, even for a car situation. So I'm going to go mostly tacky, and it's hacky if it was given to you or if you're taking a reasonable amount.
Now, I will save the chopsticks from...
I do that too.
Because they usually give you maybe one extra one, and it's nice to keep it in the drawer just in case one time you order and they forget.
That's fair.
That's hacky.
We've got that. All right, next up, ordering your drink with no ice, I'm assuming in order to get more liquid. I'm going to go hacky on that one.
Hacky. Been there, done that.
That's not tacky at all.
And it avoids it from just getting super watered down if it takes you a while to drink it.
Now, this depends on the kind of drink. I mean, some people, I feel like with a fountain drink, you need some ice in there. It's just strange without it. And you can always refill it. You know what I mean? So it depends on the beverage.
Well, let's add an outlier here because people go to extremes. I might know someone in my family who would save a cup and bring it in the next day.
Bring it back for a free refill?
And get a free refill.
That to me is tacky. That's beyond the moral line for me personally.
So are you calling my family members tacky,
I'm not
George?
going to report them. I'm just saying, if I did that, my wife would be like, really?
Oh, most definitely.
You know what I mean? There'd be some eye rolls.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
extended family, by the way, not Sam Warshaw. Okay.
Next up, kids' meals for older kids/teenagers. I'm going hacky.
I'm going to go hacky because,
smaller portion, cheaper price.
Probably the correct portion.
But what about if the menu says like 12 and below?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Even if the menu says 12 or below, here's the thing. I still, to this day, I'll go to Chick-fil-A and I'll order a kid's meal. And not one time have they been like, sir, is there children in the vehicle with you?
Does it? But I don't think it says that on their menu. But if you go to a restaurant, it'll say on the kids' menu, like 12 and below.
Now, the fancier the restaurant, the less likely I am to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I don't need some of these portions, Jade, you've seen them.
Gargantuan.
I'm like, y'all, we're eating for 3 over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got a little physique. I don't need that much.
Wow. Okay.
So I think it's hacky in most situations. But again, if they say, hey, kids only, I go, all right, no big deal. I'm not going to put up a stink about it.
What about, okay, again, sorry, I'm going rogue a little bit, James, because it's making me think of like trifling things that I've seen people do who shall remain nameless. All right, you go to the Mexican restaurant, they bring chips to the table that are usually free. It comes with a meal.
Yep.
And you're really done with the chips, but you're like, I'll order another basket and I'll take those home.
Oh, the to-go chips scenario. All right, I'll go hacky on that one.
Is that hacky? I think I would say tacky on that.
I wouldn't do it just to take it to go. I would get the chips and be like, all right, I'm really done with the chips here. My entree's here. And these chips are going to go to waste. You know they're going to throw them out.
Yeah.
One would hope.
So you're saying it's the motivation behind it. If you didn't know there was going to be leftovers, you take them, but you don't order it knowing you're not going to eat them.
They don't recycle the chips off the table, do they?
Yes, they do. Yes.
I got trust issues now.
I used to work on a cruise ship. Let me throw this out here. I used to work on a cruise ship. You know, you go out at any restaurant, and they give you a basket of bread.
Yeah.
If you can, and you rifle through it to pick the piece of bread you want. They will 100% save that bread and put it in somebody else's basket. You're welcome.
Now,
it's gross, I know.
Is that just cruise ship?
I'm going to go with that's in everyday life, George.
I feel like the restaurants that I frequent, they wouldn't do that. They're too classy. And there's OSHA violations. There's too many issues that could go wrong.
Sam and I went to a restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and it was fairly nice. And when they brought out the bread basket, I could tell it had a lot of crumbs in it. Oh. There was a piece that looked like it had been broken off of the lavash. I was like, I'm not getting a good vibe about this bread basket.
Well, to be fair, I told you guys don't go to Applebee's after 10 p.m. And you did it anyways. You did it
well
anyways.
Played, George Camel. Okay, let's keep going on this. Well played.
All right, next up, splitting meals, hacky or tacky. Okay, I do this, so I think it's hacky.
It's
I don't
hacky.
think it's tacky.
Here's where it gets hacky and tacky. Don't tell them you're going to split it because some restaurants
they'll charge you for a split plate.
So don't tell them. Just eat it off each other's plate.
Yeah. Well, I like to get an entree. My wife will get an entree, and then we'll kind of eat half and switch or something.
Hacky.
And some restaurants, I mean, like we'll get fajitas at one of these local Mexican places. It's tons of food in a fajita for one.
Yeah.
And my wife and I split that, and we have a great time. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not doing anything immoral.
Okay, but what about this? Alcoholic beverage, if you will, splitting one of those.
I mean, that's strange.
Cocktails are expensive at a restaurant.
Yeah. I wouldn't split I'm trying to think of, I wouldn't split a soda.
Maybe a glass. Well,
the one thing
sodas
I have
free refills though, so you could split one.
Yeah, but then the server, that's tacky.
That's tacky. Splitting a soda so you get free refills and then you each can have your fill of.
Because you're trying to avoid paying another $3 for your soda.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a cocktail is fine because those are wildly expensive. There's no free refills on cocktails.
And some people might not want to handle a full drink. Okay.
So that one's fair if it's alcoholic. If it's not, I think it's a little tacky.
A little tacky. All right.
Next up, ordering an appetizer or dessert only.
Hacky.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that.
That's just saving money. Now, here's the thing.
The real hack is skip the apps and dessert and get the entree. That's what I do.
Well, here's where the motivation part of it comes in. Like, what was your motivation going in? So when you're getting out of debt, right, and you're like, I'm not going to spend a lot of money, and your friends are going out, but you're like, I'm not going to go out and spend money. I'll just go for the company. There's always a friend that feels bad and it's like, I got yours. I'll get yours. So if you say yes and you're like, I'm just get the soup. Or I'll just get the side salad.
Or I'll get a water, and then you're dipping your little grubby hands into those fries that we got.
Oh.
Hey. There's another
tacky.
move.
I think if you're just honestly like, I'm going out, this is all I want, definitely hacky. But if you have a motivation.
You know what's tacky, though, and I've been in this situation, is people go, well, we'll just split it all evenly. It'll be easier. And then I'm like, whoa, I didn't get the appetizer or the 3 cocktails. I got water and one entree.
I'm like, hold up.
We're not splitting this evenly.
I know, that's right.
It's tacky to be the person who says, let's just split it evenly when you got the most.
That's because it's always the Michael Jordans and the LeBrons that say that. And I'm over here, the 6th man. I may not make what they make.
I'm Muggsy Bogues out here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The 6th man does not make what the point guard the starting point guard makes. And so when you're out to dinner with your friends, you got to think about that before you say, hey, let's just all split it. And you go and order the filet mignon,
fair.
George, like you did. I'm just kidding.
That's fair. Okay, last one. Getting soda at the soda fountain when you didn't order a soda. So you get the cup for water.
That's legit stealing.
That's tacky.
That's tacky.
But you know what I have done is right next to the water, there's a soda button. There's no syrup. It's just soda water.
All right.
I'll do that with a cup of water.
That.
It's still water.
Listen.
No syrup. I didn't cost the company any money with their paying for syrup.
For the OGs, you already know. You order water and lemons and go ahead and put your own sugar in there.
I make my own little LaCroix. Like Chipotle, get the soda water. I squeeze a lime in there. You got a lime LaCroix for free.
Okay.
There's your Chipotle hack.
Listen, I think that it's tacky, but...
Thank you, Jade. This has been Tacky or Hacky Restaurant Edition. Hope you guys enjoyed that and budget for it, whether it is tacky or hacky.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.